SOUQ News.
Adenike Adeyemi, Executive Director of Faith Foundation. Keep watching SOUQ News.
My name is Shepherd Michael Adewale Onofuye. I enjoy you all to always watch SOUQ News TV.
Hey everyone, Majuli Obaje here representing Gigi. Keep watching SOUQ News, okay? Stay updated with SOUQ News.
My name is Harton Kene. I am the head of MSME banking. Please keep watching SOUQ News and stay glued to SOUQ News.
I recommend that more and more people should watch SOUQ News because they deal with business news.
Hi, my name is Amaka Wokolo. I am the director of the Faith Institute at Faith Foundation. Keep watching SOUQ News.
From Dubai to Lagos, Nigeria, and across the globe, SOUQ News TV is your #1 station focusing on business, economy, and development. With global digital reach, we connect Africa's pulse to the world stage. Welcome to SOUQ News Television, and here we go beyond the headlines. From breaking news, in-depth conversational programs, to market analysis and indices. From policies affecting growth to unique documentaries, from live event coverage to bespoke productions, we deliver content that connects you to the world. At SOUQ News Television, we provide news surrounding business, economy, and development, infomercials and jingles that stand out, short and long-form documentaries crafted to international standards, independent production spaces with full technical support, special coverage for individual and corporate events, a special form of documentaries through our prestige package, Immortals, where we tell your story the way you'd love it, and business support services tailored for small enterprises. SOUQ News TV, powered by FemWatch Limited, also home to the Isle 95.9 FM Lagos and Kasua 99.7 FM Kano, and Emirate News Television Abuja, together forming Africa's trusted media powerhouse. Storytelling, coverage, and connection that matters. SOUQ News TV, your home for business, economy, and development.
Hello Lagos, make we yarn.
Hello, boy, if this POS matter, don't pass your call. Person go swipe, alert no enter. Before you know it, jump.
Wait oh, wetin really happen?
Maybe you say alert the warriors.
Okay, so mona listen oh, if you dey do POS business, no expose your alert.
Hello, Ogbefi. They don't walk that bar road where they warriors for our local government for years.
This one sweet me, I no lie you. Because you know what, development with the work, it deserve loudspeaker. Now why we dey here be that? For here, we know the abuse, we dey bring solution. My name, it is Ikechukwu Oyemike, aka Ogbefi Ishegwari.
Make we yarn every weekday from 10 a.m. go to 12 o'clock on top the eye 95.9 FM.
We're going to have increase in the number of facilities that we will visit in the year 2025 by 30%. That would have improved compliance and enhancement of data-driven decision making using data analytics. We're going to strengthen collaboration between our partners, and we're going to have 25% increase in our compliance rates by carrying out the key strategies. We want to expand our monitoring coverage. We want to enhance our digital infrastructure by integrating a secure online pathway. We also want to include the e-learning platform and our mobile platforms on the digital infrastructure. We want to strengthen our community engagement and build capacity of both the farmer staff and our partners. We want to drive innovation and research. This year, we want to carry out research on quality of care. In In doing all of this, we want to make the health facilities in Lagos safer by, leveraging on technology and ensuring that all our processes are data-driven. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Dr. Mariede, Dr. Nibo Shinowo, Dr. Veronica Iwayemi, and Dr. Abiola Idowu. Your Excellency, the Governor of Lagos State, Mr. Babajide Olusola Sanwo-Olu, the Honorable Minister of State for Health, Dr. Isiaq Salako. Taking us further in the comparative study, I want to especially welcome a professor and consultant medical parasitologist at the College of Medicine, University of Lagos. He coordinates the International Malaria Microscopy RDT Quality Assurance Center, as well as the country's World Health Organization malaria specimen collection sites in the College of Medicine, University of Lagos. Ladies and gentlemen, please let's put hands together for Professor Wellington Oyibo for the very short comparative study. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, His Excellency, Executive Governor of Lagos State, the Honorable Minister of Health, here represented here by the Minister of State for Health. Ladies and gentlemen, first of all, this is historic for us. This is a path we have planned, prayed for, and we are happy that this is happening. Mr. Governor, thank you for all and for making this happen myself. I'm so happy and grateful to the Honorable Commissioner of Health. He has told the story. So I'm going to build on those stories as I make this presentation. I don't have much time. And part of the whole thing is the advances that Lagos State has made for over 2 decades. The world is hearing it, and the distinct nature of this project through the impact project itself, which is calibrated around the impacts that this project will be again for Lagos State. My slide, please. So what we know about malaria, in the 15th century, why was it called malaria? It was called malaria because the cause of that fever illness was not known. And it was connected to marshy waters. So malaria in Greek is foul. And that was all the codes too. And it took another 100 years before it was connected to mosquito bites. And today we are talking about fever and say all fevers are malaria. So are we going to the 15th century? And this is what we're trying to really unbundle in Lagos as it's still over 50 million people. My slides. So if fever is still malaria, we go back to the 15th century. And then, of course, for evidence base, meant that we will have to quickly provide the evidence. Yes. So the horrible complaint of school is out from here. So I've given this background. Most health workers will not accept the test results when it's negative. And that's the challenge. Next slide, please. Okay, and if you don't have data, which we are talking about digitization, you cannot calibrate where you are. And so if we look at the entire program and the plan of the projects, is to see that real-time data is available and that tests are done. And when the test is done, we can say quickly, cost-effectively, this is where we are. Because you can get the rely on routine data. The country do not have quality data, and that's the challenge. Next slide. So low confidence in the test. Basic things are being used. Lagos is making progress. How do we handle this? 94 to 96% of the reporting for malaria in the DHIS that categorizes states and Nigeria comes from the primary healthcare sector and is from the public sector. It's important to recognize this next slide. And we're bringing this on board because we provide the quality platform for quality diagnosis at the College of Medicine. Next slide. And we do all of this carefully to ensure that these tests are good to be used for humans. Next slide. And what is known? Please just keep on going on the slide because I'll just go through them. There are changes in Nigeria in terms of malaria epidemiology. Next slide. And then we see from the 2021 malaria indicator survey where Lagos is. Next slide. And you can see where we are here at 2.6% hopeful. And next slide. Good progress. And we're talking about the part for pre-elimination. We are on that path, and we are happy that this is being mentioned here today, and like I said, this signature, and in line with the stratification strategy and subnational tailoring by WHO. So we are quite on course on this. Next slide. And then you can see the different tests available. You can keep on hitting enter. You have microscopy that is powered by a human being. And then you have this rapid diagnostic test that is technology. But somehow we refuse to accept technology and we stay with humans with all the challenges. So that's what you see with microscopy. Just keep on pressing enter and all of this. And this is the test 15 minutes, the result is out. The other one will take any time. It will be 1 day. And then based on that, we have done the scoping assessment of facility in Lagos.
Recent times, cosmetic clinics. So we're finding it difficult. We have limited capacity to ensure monitoring of these facilities. We also have inefficient manual processes because our digital platform is unable to carry out some of the processes in the agency. We're sitting on a lot of data in the agency.
With AI to make sure that the test is actually having the results that the pharmacy or PPMD says it does. We then verify that the treatment, the appropriate treatment. And then in the impact program, we to the public health system for malaria-negative patients to ensure that they're getting the proper diagnosis that they need and have a better understanding of what other febrile illnesses patients might have. Next slide, please. Next slide. Okay, so I'll just talk briefly about all of the other partners that are working on this as well. So we are working closely, of course, with the Lagos State Ministry of Health, which envisioned this work and brought us in to support on this, with NMEP, which is overseeing the work and providing technical oversight, with WHO, which is providing, again, technical support and facilitation, and then importantly with our private sector partners as well, so PCN, which is doing quite a bit of the regulatory oversight and ensuring the quality of care in a pharmacy setting, with SFH, which is enabling the supply chain, and then of course with LASHMA, which is to go quickly into the final results on why this is improved quality of care. Oh, okay. Sorry about that. So the work is providing network expansion, innovative financing, integrated health systems, supply chain resilience, comparative research, and regulatory reform, leveraging all of these different partners that we've mentioned to ensure that patients are able to access quality care and that the data is being provided back to Lagos State to help improve regulatory support, policy, and other things. I mentioned the partners that we have here already, but we're very grateful for all of the work that they are providing to ensure that there's quality of care in the private sector. And then finally, one final slide. To reinforce what Dr. Wellington said earlier, the work that is being done is also to be supporting with testing, understanding the difference between rapid tests and microscopy, to support on policy reform to ensure that rapid tests are always done before treatment for malaria in Lagos State. Thank you all so much, and we're very excited to be a part of this.
Thank you very much. Dr. Jessica Vernon, the CEO, my Shemets. Ladies and gentlemen, taking us further, Tagwina Obulafo. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, sir. Your Excellency, sir. We're very happy that this is happening today. So just permit me to do something unique in terms of our focus for malaria control in Nigeria. To do this, I will call on Dr. Dao, Country Director for SOUQ. We're going to have the Honorable Minister being tested for malaria. Honorable Minister, thank you very much. This is showcasing the main focus for malaria control in Nigeria, which we refer to as the 3 T's. Your Excellency, the first T stands for tests. We cannot overemphasize or we cannot underscore the importance of that. The second T, sir, is for treatment. Cannot have His Excellency and the Minister of Health standing for long, so once we take their samples, we're going to have them seated again. So can I have Dr. Walter on stage to come and quality check what is happening, sir, please? Thank you very much.
We are witnessing leadership by example. Leadership by example by Mr. Governor, Mr. Babajide Olusola Sanwo-Olu, as well as the Honorable Minister of State for Health, Dr. Salako. Please let's appreciate them. That is the way to go for every one of us all.
Thank you very much, Your Excellencies. So again, this is the way to go for malaria control program in Nigeria. The pre-elimination in Nigeria could commence in phases. We could commence pre-elimination in Nigeria in phases. Thank you, Your Excellencies. Thank you. So back to the fourth bullet on my slide. Your Excellencies, pre-elimination in Nigeria could be commenced in phases. It could start with the states, Lagos State, for example, and we could go geopolitical zones. So I was sitting with my sister, the Commissioner of Health from Ogun State. So the fever for pre-elimination have started. So I also want to say that it stands on Lagos State to make sure that this pathway for pre-elimination is properly done. The National Malaria Elimination Program is waiting to take the experiences and the processes that Lagos will use to achieve elimination to be replicated in other states. Your Excellencies, it's important to note that right now we have a couple of states under 10% prevalence in the country, and those states are Anambra, Kwara, and Rivers State. So what is happening in Lagos that has been flagged off today, it's like NMEP, it's poised to take what these processes and experiences are to states like that. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, ma. Let's appreciate her. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Mr. Governor, sir, Minister of Health and Social Welfare, Professor Mohammed Ali Pate, who has been ably represented here today by the Honorable Minister of State for Health, Dr. Isiaq Adekunle Salako. A round of applause for him, please.
Your Excellency, the excellent Governor of the Center of Excellence, Mr. Babajide Sanwo-Olu. I must recognize my brother, who is one who has summoned all of us here today, the Honorable Commissioner for Health for Lagos State. And all members of the Lagos State Cabinet here present, our partners, WHO, World Bank, distinguished stakeholders in the health sector, gentlemen of the press. Because of time, let me say all protocols to be extended. We cannot keep the governor for malaria alone. He has to attend to water, to road, to several other things. So I will shorten my speech, but I must say that today I'm wearing two caps. You may not see it physically. Standing in for myself, and also standing in for my brother, the coordinating minister for health and social welfare, Professor Pate, who is unable to attend because of other assignments. I am most delighted to be at this auspicious occasion of the launch of the pathway to malaria pre-elimination and digitization program in the Center of Excellence, Lagos State, led by His Excellency the Governor, Mr. Babajide Sanwo-Olu. I recall that Lagos State pioneered intensive malaria case management in the early 2000s through the Eco-Free Malaria Initiative under the leadership of now our President, Dr. Bola Ahmed Tinubu, then Governor. I am most delighted to be here today to be part of another pioneering initiative now under Governor Babatunde Sanwo-Olu as Lagos State takes the lead in the agenda to end malaria by 2030. Your Excellency, the Federal Ministry of Health and Social Welfare is elated with this giant stride, which aims to improve malaria diagnosis, case management, and accurate tracking of cases through the integration of digital health solutions in the form of real-time electronic reporting systems, all targeted at further reduction in the burden of malaria and its eventual elimination from our land. This momentous project will not only set the track for malaria pre-elimination in Lagos State, but in Nigeria at large, thereby once again making Lagos State a trailblazer. I want to emphasize that this project is in line with the renewed hope agenda of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu and the renewed vigor for the Federal Ministry of Health and Social Welfare on the rethinking malaria concept that was launched in April 2024 and is aimed at fast-tracking the malaria elimination goal through strategic shifts. We have continued to make progress in this regard, and the inauguration of the advisory on malaria elimination in Nigeria, AMEN, the development of pragmatic costed plan of action, the expansion of permanent healthcare facilities, training of frontline health workers, and the initiation of domestication of affordable medicine facilities for malaria to make malaria treatment more affordable are all testament to the progress we are making. Your Excellency, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, the Ministry is taking these steps in order to reverse the undesirable trend of being the highest burden malaria endemic country globally, accounting for 37% and 31% of cases and deaths, respectively. I am confident that the Lagos State possesses the needed attributes that can help drive Nigeria to malaria elimination through such case-setting initiatives like this program. Furthermore, Lagos has been consistently the lowest malaria prevalence state in Nigeria, as evidenced from all the malaria indicator survey conducted in the country, with the most recent result in 2021 showing 2% prevalence, hence indicating a tendency of attaining pre-elimination when concerted and consolidated efforts are put in place. I wish to report that the challenge of let me use this opportunity to call on all stakeholders not to relent on their support towards this impactful intervention, which will contribute significantly to the drive at eliminating malaria from the world. Nigeria is ever committed to this drive and we will continue to toe the path of global best practices. I wish to assure all Nigerians and our partners that the change in the policy of the United States government with respect to global health funding will not adversely affect our malaria elimination programs and other public health initiatives, as President Bola Ahmed Tinubu GCFR has approved a robust mechanism to ensure adequate and cost-effective funding for public health programs. I call on all state governments to join hands with the federal government to ensure that our country becomes self-sustaining in the funding of our public health programs. Before I end this address, let me commend once again and appreciate His Excellency, the Governor of Lagos State, Mr. Babajide Sanwo-Olu, and his health team, led by Professor Akin Abayomi, for initiating and executing this laudable innovative project. I wish to also sincerely appreciate all the partners, World Bank, WHO, all the implementers, especially for providing the needed human resources, technical support, and the funding for the implementation of this initiative. I wish all of us a successful launch of this impactful project as a springboard for the elimination of malaria from our country. Thank you, and God bless the federal government.
Distinguished invited guests, Your Excellencies, Honorable Minister of State, have your results. Pleased to say that the Honorable Minister of State, we will not be confining you in a bed in Lagos. Your result is negative. When patients go to clinics and the doctors tell you that they've performed the test, it is your responsibility as a patient to see the test. Please ask for the test and take a picture of it and have a record on your phone. My governor, the Excellency of Lagos State, I'm pleased to tell you that you may continue with your duties.
Congratulations, sir.
Negative, and the low prevalence of malaria in Lagos has been charted course. Thank you very much for Minister, and our Governor and members of the Lagos State Executive Council. Mr. Governor, if you would like to approach the podium to give your keynote and to launch the pathway to malaria elimination in Lagos.
A practitioner himself and a strong politician, Dr. Thank you very much for finding out. Members of the State Executive Council, especially Professor Akin Abayomi, and Special Advisor on Health. Thank you very much. Other cabinet members, all the permanent secretaries in the Health Ministry, there are several of you that are here. Thank you very much for taking out time. The Country Director for the World Bank, Dr. Diop, the Country Representative for the WHO, Dr. Walter, all of our partners that are here, MyShamed, Impact, SFH, the National Malaria Organization, our friends from our neighboring state, the Honorable Commissioner for Health in Ogun State, thank you. All of our health practitioners, stakeholders that are here, gentlemen of the press, ladies and gentlemen. When you are asked to come forward and conduct a test that you did not psych yourself for, what will happen is you quickly raise, your brain will raise back and say, have I been feeling unwell? What is going to happen? It just brought us back 5 years during COVID, and they said that they're going to do a COVID test. It was like, the heart was going to open and you don't know what will be the outcome. But you see, it's an important activity that we need to continue to subject ourselves to. You might think it's a simple thing, but it's so important. And that ability for you to come forward, if it has turned positive, what it will have just meant is that we need to make a treatment. It's not a death penalty, but it's really just for all of us to know that we need to do this thing and we need to be able to come forward transparently at all times and let us end all of these things that we don't want again in our sight. Thank you very much. And so it's an honor that I stand before all of you in this room are very strategic to launch the first in the country, another Lagos first, the pathway to malaria pre-elimination and digitalization program. We're here to affirm our commitment to safeguarding lives and the livelihood of every Lagosian. Malaria is more than a disease. It's a social-economic burden that has held back individuals. It has held back families and communities for such a long time. It robs us of our productivity. It drains us of our household incomes. And for many households in Lagos, especially those modest earners, malaria, the name it alone brings shivers. It reduces their earning and reduces their ability to continue to earn more for their family. And so this financial strain often affects families and a lot of times causes heartbreaks and the rest of it. But we're here to put a stop or to even bring a voice to the step at which we want to eliminate that completely. It has affected school children from going to school. It has affected businesses. It has seen a whole lot of absenteeism and a lot of challenges in our society for several decades. But today, we have to change all of that narrative. The eradication of malaria is not just a good health news. It is indeed an economic imperative. It's a good news that all of us must beat our chest and be able to carry, if there's a P, that we need to have, a pre-elimination, the campaign for it, we need to have it and we need to be able to dot it everywhere. We know from statistics how much malaria has cost our GDP, billions and billions of dollars. Imagine what Lagos could achieve with a lot of resources if we're able to eliminate all of this. We no longer have to choose between survival and opportunity. Imagine a Lagos where every child can attend school uninterrupted
because of ill health, or an adult can contribute fully to the economy. And one thing that is instructive was the demonstration of the slide by Professor Akiambam, and I saw others as well. I can see that Prof already has a side job in animation and cartooning. It's a job that he can conveniently retire into. And the narratives were very clear. But the message was very, very transparently done. And all of us, in one form or the other, are guilty of this. You feel unwell, you think you have a fever, the next thing is you are diagnosing yourself with malaria. Very easy. Just give me injection. Just give me this tablet. I know what it is. We are all, self-diagnosing ourselves and self-telling ourselves that that is what it can only be and that is what it is. So just give us. But we can see that with knowledge and with communication, a lot of all of those negative things you can rewrite them. And so this program represents a hope rooted on innovation, collaboration, and determination by leveraging digital tools that will ensure that every malaria case is tracked in real time. This is digital. Long are those days when you need to take a whole full blood from your body to just do a simple malaria test. I was asking for my bottle of Mortina because those days when they take your blood test, you must replenish it with a bottle of Mortina. But you can see that with just a small prick, and in no time you can actually. That's what digital life, has done. And so it has helped us by strengthening partnership with the private sector. We will expand access for quality care. It will help communities to have the knowledge and resources. It will build a culture of preventing that leaves no one behind. And that's a message we need to come out of from here. All of us sitting in this room must immediately turn ourselves into an advocate, into a cheerleader to be able to carry this message forward, to be able to tell everybody that needs to know. Go into our communities, pass on this message that this pre-elimination launch program has started, and it's for all of us to see it, to buy into it, and to work with it. The benefit of eradicating malaria goes beyond just health. In malaria-free Lagos, and indeed in future, in malaria-free Nigeria, it's achievable in our time. And we've all put our minds to it, something that could be done. We believe that if we can eliminate it, it will increase productivity, it will improve educational outcomes for our children, it will reduce considerably our health costs. It would also enhance quality of life. All of these points speaks to a better livability standards, in all indices. And so this vision, though ambitious, I believe is achievable. It requires, therefore, all of us, government agencies, healthcare practitioners, healthcare providers, community leaders, development partners, and indeed all citizens to work together with an unwavering resolve. Success will not come overnight, but will be sustained effort and collaborative action. We will prevail. You saw the slides that a farmer and the lady on malaria and the lady on immunization. You saw the statistics between January and February, what the run rate should be. Yes, we could say that, this is just March, but we need to be able to double those numbers. We need to push those numbers to be able to achieve the 2025 target. We need to be able to push and achieve, because there is no magic to it. If your target is 2 million, and at the end of February, we are still doing less than 200,000. We are doing far, far less. So you need to double, your spike shoots. You need to work harder, twice as as much for you to achieve the 2025 record. And Doctor told us, Prof told us from WHO that it's 2025. They are going to close the envelope. Hello? Yes, they said they are going to close it. And there's a 20. Where is it? I thought it was. They're going to close it. Our target is that we have to take that $20 million. We have to do everything to make sure that we'll meet the criteria very, very quickly. Because if it's something that we've all said we want to do, then everybody must be on the same page. We I want to commend the farmer and all the ladies that came forward transparently to show us those data. And what we need to do is we don't need to wait in October before we now cry. We need to be able to track this thing on a month-on-month basis. So I want to thank all of you. I want to thank our partners, the World Health Organization, the World Bank, the National Malaria Elimination Program. Our community pharmacists are here. All of our pharmaceutical associations are here. Thank you very much. Our various private and public hospitals, and all of you that are here for your valuable support in making this initiative positive. Of course, permit me to thank in absentia our very hardworking Honorable Minister of Health and Social Welfare, Professor Mohammed Al-Pate. Our best regards and our best wishes to him. We know all of the things that he has brought about in his tenure as the Honorable Minister of Health. We wish him well. We are also tracking and monitoring, all of the deliverables so that we can say at the end of the day, in your time, you did all of this. And to also thank the Honorable Minister of State for cooperating and operations with the Honorable Minister. We believe that if you do all of these things and you do them well, your time, your time in that ministry will be written in gold, and Nigerians will forever be grateful because we know that you are pushing everything to ensure that we save over 1 million lives, and you are doing so many things, so many big health initiatives. I want to wish you well. To Dr. Diop, our country director for the World Bank, thank you for your invaluable support at all times, funding your technical assistance. We believe it will continue to catalyze our health initiative. To our country director on the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, Mr. Uche, whose organization's investment has been pivotal to malaria control. We say a big thank you. Dr. Walter, our WHO country representative, we believe that your expertise and your advocacy capacity has helped us to push this forward. Thank you very, very much. To all of our partners, Marshall, Nets, who I met last week, I did promise, I said I'll be here in person. And to all of our other partners, please, let's see this as a start to work. It's only when we achieve what we have set for ourselves that we have done the job. They don't pay people for attempts. They pay people for results. And it's the result that is important. It's the result that takes us to that final breathing point in which we all can say that, yes, we've done our best, we've contributed what we needed, and we've seen the results. And I believe that we have everything to make it work. We believe we have all it takes to eliminate malaria completely in Lagos State. I want to congratulate our own Ministry of Health. Congratulating ourselves is telling you that you have a lot more to do, Prof, and all of you. But I will be watching, and I will do everything to continue to encourage you. And as a demonstration of that encouragement, I was whispering to Prof that I will also do something different. I will be promoting Dr. Idu as a permanent secretary. Twice as much. My fellow Lagosians, fight belongs to each of us. Let us embrace a preventive measure by eliminating mosquitoes, adapt, test before treatment. And I think that is the message we need to take away. All of our pharmaceutical establishment. Ensure that we can pass this message. Test before treatment. It is so important that we do not just take this for granted. Let us ensure that we can take this advocacy into our communities, into our nooks and crannies, and show truly that once we have started this campaign in Lagos, we will go around every part of the city. We can rewrite the history of malaria in Lagos, and it is in our hand. It's all of us in this room that can help. I want to wish you all the very best, and I believe that when we work together, there's absolutely nothing that we cannot achieve together. Thank you very much.
Mr. Governor, sir, crave your indulgence.
When we were meeting, she thought I really didn't like her. She was frowning her face one day. It was between her eye and her eye. This pre-examination launch of malaria from Lagos State. Pathway to malaria pre-admission and the sterilization program in Lagos. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Mr. Governor, sir, may I crave your indulgence to quickly invite this Honorable Commissioner for Health, Special Advisor on Health and Permanent Secretary, Ministry of Health, to join you for the first photo op.
As we are done, also we are inviting all the permanent secretaries in Lagos State to join the executive governor, actors from the Federal Ministry of Health, all the directors that have accompanied the Minister of State for Health, all the directors in the Federal Ministry.
drop makes a hole in a stone, not by force, but by consistent dripping. Nothing describes these women more apt than her indomitable and consistent drive for excellence. Born Bilikisu Abiodun Moturayo Omobalanle Adekola on December 24, 1962, into the family of Alhaji Abdulmoshood Adekola, the first grandson of the first Alhaji in the city of Ibadan, and a Cameroonian mother, Mrs. Hannah Aduke Adekola, in the ancient city of Ibadan, Oyo State. While her mother was still pregnant with her, left for England to further his education. And while she was pretty much young, her mother left the country to go join her husband, to return while she was 8 years. Meanwhile, she was left to be cared for by her grandmother. She was registered in a private boarding primary school at the age of 4.
My parents had me. My father went off to England to go to school before I was born. He left my mother pregnant with me. My mother had me, and before I was a year old, left to join her husband in England, and I was left with my grandmother. I grew up with my grandmother before my parents came back like 8 years after. Spent my first, from at age 4 or 5, I was sent into a boarding nursery school. I lived in boarding school at a very early age because my parents wanted to protect me from becoming a local Ibadan girl.
And she usually attributes these to her early independence and wisdom. Omo Agbanimi, some of her friends sometimes poke fun at her wisdom, which is way beyond her age.
I was raised by my grandmother, so I'm a bit of an old woman in my brain, in how I think, as my friends say.
Her foray into business started at a very young age at her grandmother's shop where she sells salt. Little did she know that this was going to stand her in good stead in life.
My first exposure to business was my grandmother's little shop where she sold salt. And I used to love to sit behind her little kiosk and help her to sell the salt. But who knew I was being trained for business in my future?
While at secondary school, she participated in the literary debating group, excelling in it, which made her consider a career in law, though that didn't last. Also, it is worthy of note that Ibukun Awoshika could hold her own in athletics, earning her the nickname Rabbit because she could really run.
As an athlete, if you want to run, and I used to be fast, they used to call me the Rabbit.
Unsure of what career path she was going to settle for, she considered becoming many things at one point or the other of her life. After secondary school, she thought of becoming a medical doctor, but she couldn't stand the sight of a cadaver, so she let go of that idea. Later on, architecture was another fancy that caught her attention. Similarly, she also considered becoming a chartered accountant, finally, only see she could work in a bank.
I thought I wanted to be a doctor. Then I found out that they work with real dead bodies. I changed my mind very quickly. I then thought, you know what? I'd like to be an architect. I was good in sciences and had a problem if parents sentence you to science when you're good at both. So I ended up in Ife to study chemistry. By the end of my first year, I realized how much I hated chemistry. I could pass it, but I didn't love it. So then I thought, you know, I'd make a good lawyer. I debated throughout school. I used to represent my school in school's debate. So everybody knows that I can win an argument. So I gave it everything trying to change to law. I used to go and sit outside the door of the dean of law. And then one day the man said, come, what do you want? I want to change to law.
Is that why you've been sitting outside of my office? Yes, sir. Okay, if I only take one person from another department next year, it will be you.
After the completion of her undergraduate degree at the University of Ife, she went for the compulsory one-year National Youth Service Corps, NYSC, in Kano State, where she worked as an audit trainee at Akitola Williamson Co., which later became Deloitte.
For youth service, I did everything to make sure they sent me to an accounting firm. They first sent me to a Muslim school to go and teach. That was easy to solve. I just wore a dress off my shoulder. I went to report. I was immediately rejected. Once they rejected me, I went back to the posting room and waited there for days until they sent me to Akintola Williams & Co.
Although she was later given full employment after her service year, she felt becoming an accountant wasn't a thing.
You would have thought that having gone through all that trouble, accounting would be the love of my life. When I got there, within the 1 year of my youth service, I realized how boring accounting is to me. Because they had all the processes somebody else had thought about before. All I had to do was open old dusty files from company to company without imagination or initiative. I'm a very restless human being. That was not going to work. So I finished the work, I did well, they offered me permanent employment, but I said thank you, but no thank you. Why? Because at that moment, I had come to a realization that that was not the vision for my life.
After returning home, she joined Alibert Nigeria Limited, a furniture company, as showroom manager, in a word, only to kill time. She only stayed for 3.5 months. She left to begin a furniture manufacturing company called Quibis Limited in 1989, just a month before her 26th birthday. The company later grew into SOUQ Chair Center Limited, following a venture merger with SOUQ SA and Guarantee Trust Bank in 2004.
But the first job I could find 1 week after was in a furniture company. So I went there to kill time. My kill time project has resulted in 30 years of investment of my life in building a manufacturing group in furniture. So it was never the plan of my life. So some of you will accidentally find your purpose.
One could only wonder what had led her not only to compete, but to thrive in a male-dominated terrain. With over 30 years in business, Ibukun Awoshika is a woman to reckon with, encouraging more women to participate in the business terrain. Her passion to see the girl child not just to be educated, but much more to learn to own our own value and trade with it when there is need for it. Her lifelong ambition is to see herself die empty.
My biggest ambition in life is to die empty. Totally empty. That no talents, no giftings, no opportunities, nothing that I was born to do, that I have the capacity to do, that I do not do.
Following her remarkable achievements, she's been conferred with different doctorates, including one in business, entrepreneurship, and human capacity development from the Lagos State University, Ojo. Similarly, she was given a honorary doctorate of business administration from the Obafemi Awolowo University and another from the Olabisi Onabanjo University, Agoiwoye, Ogun State. Apart from our entrepreneurial prowess, Ibukun Awoshika is an ordained minister of the gospel, a presenter, writer, and a TV host.
The Bible tells us that let every man be what? A liar. And let who alone be true? Let God alone be true.
She hosts a television program called Business His Way. Also, she acted in the 2020 Kunle Afolanyo movie titled Citation, which in addition to the books she had written, including Business His Way, The Girl Entrepreneur, The Girls in the Boardroom, and My Thoughts in Codes. In 2004, she earned a certification in Business Administration and Management from the IESE Business School. She's also the chairperson of the Novel Nigeria Office for Philanthropy and Impact Investment. She has consistently encouraged women to take up more leadership positions without compromising their values and integrity. In 2005, she was appointed the MD CEO of SOUQ SA France, GTB PLC.
My name is Muiba Wonu Folami, an indigenous of Lagos State, Ikorodu, to be specific. I was born in Lagos 86 years ago, and to the glory of God, I'm still alive and well, and trying to be a relative in the cause of women. I attended primary school. I started at Ansarudin Alakuru School. From there to CMS Girls School, and then Queen's College, Lagos. From Queen's College, I went to the Portsmouth College of Technology for my A-levels, and then University of London for my first degree in law. The same university for my master's degree in law. I had, between obtaining my master's and my first degree, I was in Nigeria to do the mandatory law school course. I was one of the last people to do a 3-month course before it was changed to 1 year. And then went back to England for my master's. And from there to lecture at the University of Zambia. Back to Nigeria. I was appointed by Dr. Taslim Elias, the CJ of Nigeria, to the Commission for Advance Notice to Lawyers of Developments in Law. It was a commission funded by the Ford Foundation to keep lawyers abreast of the developments in law. I was a director there. Then from there, I was admitted to the Federal Ministry of Justice. After being legal advisor to many ministries, I ended up as the Director of Public Prosecutions for the Federation. And after that, whilst I was the Director of DPP, I was appointed Attorney General and Commissioner for Justice in Lagos State. After retirement, I've been involved in social work, in religion. I've always had religion, but I spend more time on religion. I read, I watch telly, and I live a good life, to the glory of God. You see, when you begin to think that it was not until 2007 that women started to get equal pay in tennis tournaments. And it was something that was fought for. Little things like that does not add to equality. But when it was done, it may be small, but at work, even at work in employment, women are still discriminated against. And most women do two jobs. They look after the home, and they do the normal work that a man does in an office. Why I fail to understand this inequality in the treatment of women is that the work, the responsibilities in the workplace is not reduced for women, even though we do not want to be paid the same salary as men. It's a fight that has continued, and in that area, I think we need to do more to push for more recognition. Women have contributed immensely to the society. The men that are now resisting equal pay were brought up by women. That's what I do not understand, that they can think like that. We continue to push.
But how can we speed this up?
By bringing it to the attention of world powers, recognition by every country of equal opportunities, equal pay. I want to know, I want somebody to explain to me the jobs that women cannot do.
Yeah.
They've contributed immensely. Even in the new thing, IT, we're at par with men. So I do not see the reason for it. Unfortunately, I did not experience it, because when I left university, I practiced law briefly in my uncle's chambers before I went to University of Zambia as a lecturer. There, my position was enhanced in the sense that I was a foreigner, and I got all the benefits of being a foreigner, serving in their service. Fortunately, in Nigeria today, the federal government does not discriminate in terms of salaries. Whether you're a man or a woman, you get the same salary scale. And you are promoted on equal basis. Kudos to the federal government, to Nigeria for that. But in the private sector, things are different. In some companies, this is the areas that we have to work on because the job content is the same. Some of these facilities are available in Nigeria. I learned by being a member of the Society for the Disabled that every government body must admit a certain percentage of women and of disabled people. Most times this opportunity is not taken. They are bound to employ them. We continue to push for that to be implemented in most ministries. It's important because it's there. You have to take a certain percentage of disabled people to work in government positions. It's important that we work to enforce that rule in our society. When it comes to discrimination, Nigeria is way ahead of some developed countries because we, through slavery, we faced discrimination right from the beginning. We now know how to resist it. But in my country, Nigeria, in the federal government, in the state government, there is no discrimination. It may happen in private organizations, but they must continue to push to let them understand that the job content is the same. Well, you see, traditionally, under our culture, women are in the other room. Well, the quotation. Yeah. That's our society. That's our culture. It's going to take a long time to evolve. In my time, female education was not so-called popular. It's only the educated few that strove to send their children to school, their girl child to school. They end up trading with their mothers or going to market and getting married off early. But as education began to rise in our community, its value was seen by my parents and others of their contemporaries to educate the girl child. And I believe the society is benefiting from that. Amen. So we must continue to push for the education of women, of girls. I have fought that, when I read that, the certain state government has appointed look at our National Assembly, 4 women in the Senate. Isn't that shameful? And that is the society. We have to continue to push women up. Let these political parties know that we want women. Let us organize ourselves to continue to vote for women massively. I give kudos to our governor, Babajide Sanwo-Olu. His cabinet is, women is well represented in his cabinet. And I enjoy that. I love him for that. And I continue to urge him to do more. He's done a lot. I think Lagos State has the largest representative of women in cabinet. First of all, they have to project themselves in their office space, their workspace. Let everybody know that they are equal to the task. Let us organize. There's a lot of society groups and societies that cater for the interest of women. I believe now violence against women is reducing in the society because there are sanctions for such behavior. I must say that speaking to the organization in charge of violence against women, I was amused to learn that some men come there to complain and that they are also being violated and abused.
Yes, it's a two-way thing.
It's a two-way thing. So that is reducing our society. Education of the girl child is important. We have to let the locals know that education is important. Let them showcase to them the lives of those who have been educated and who are holding high positions. I'm glad that our president, Bola Ahmed Tinubu, has returned history to the classrooms. It's important. Let them know about people that have contributed to the development of our societies and country. It's important. Yes, it's education. It's education. Once people are educated and they know that there is nothing a man can do that a woman cannot do when it comes to the workplace. We have women engineers, miners, and also all of that. Give me a job specific that a woman cannot do, then I'll change my views. So the moment you begin to upgrade education, let government now continue to vote more for education. I don't believe we are doing enough. There is a UN convention, and I think Nigeria is part of that convention, that a certain amount of a nation's income should be devoted to education. I'm not sure whether Nigeria is complying with that. But some states are better than others. And we must, education, I believe in education of the girl child. Some states now are taking children, girls off the street. Walking is completely prohibited. Things like that will help. Unfortunately, in Nigeria, we are not advanced enough to use our votes to change things. We are still not voting for individuals. We are voting for parties, irrespective of performance. Education will help. And when we join other nations for the same purpose, we get results. Our organizations who are fighting for women in Nigeria should join worldwide organizations to showcase our own situation and learn. I believe that when you talk to others, you come back with ideas on how to improve things. So we must improve things by telling women in positions to continue to prove that they are more than up to the task. It will not come to us on a platter of gold. We must show by our actions and behavior that we are up to the task. Of course, some women are wrong in claiming equal rights to their husbands in the house. I completely abhor that behavior. Even though they are husband and wife, the man in my culture remains the head. He should be respected. His views should be respected. It's only now the condition of living is so high that you join the two incomes together to run the house. In the past, it was the men that ran the house to pay for everything. Maybe some of these women are thinking that because they are contributing a quota to the development, that they have equal rights. Yes, they have equal rights in the upbringing of the children in their homes and everything. But respect is important. That will keep the home, and the children will learn and imbibe it into their own children too. Equal right does not, in my view, mean that you can be good, can not submit to your husband's wishes. Equal right means something differently. Respect comes out of it. It's important. I go out and I'm like appalled at the way women dress. There's a competition to show as much of your body, to do that much as your as much of your body that you can. It's absolutely difficult. They're not women. They're no longer women. The exposure, things that if you did in my time, a member of the community will cover you with a cloth and send you home. Because community mattered at that time. You dare not misbehave outside your compound because this community is watching you and reprimanding you if you go wrong, if you behave badly outside. That is lost. And that is why you see people, even their dressing, show disrespect to womanhood and to themselves and to the community. We must learn, teach our children etiquette of dressing, speech, how to think and speak in a decent manner. We don't have it anymore. We're losing it, and it's shameful because people are appreciating naked women on the streets. Both sides. If people dress badly and you tell them and ignore them, they won't try the next time. For instance, I believe nobody can dress to come to my house or to come to my party like a naked woman. I will turn her back. I will turn her back. So that's the type of thing that we should all do. Let the people doing this know that we do not appreciate things like this. When the society itself corrects it, we must correct it individually. We should, it doesn't, you know, if their parents cannot correct it, we must, by ignoring them and not allowing them to come near us. Show our women that have, you know, contributed to the society.
Yeah.
Show them, showcase them, showcase them.
Yeah.
We have the first woman senior advocate of Nigeria. We have Okonjo. We have, I mean, not in the UN. We have all sorts. We have what's this pharmaceutical woman? She's done so much. The younger ones are there. Little ones like Shadi Okoya is managing her husband's company and doing well. Let's encourage them. They are young. The young ones, they are working to improve the society. There's so many of them out there. We should showcase them. Let them know that we have women who are of top quality, intelligent, and well-behaved, and they dress well. Dressing well is dressing in a manner that is appealing to the eyes, not nakedness. That's my darling, this new CJN of Nigeria.
Okay.
Who do that? I did talk about Kekere. I mean, we're there. Female CJN. Yeah. And there are so many female chief judges all over the Federation. There are so many in the medical profession, in the engineering profession. We have pilots. So let them know that there is nothing that a woman cannot do. In IT, in everything, women are moving forward. We should showcase them. We should let their pictures be seen in our newspapers, in our news, in everything, to encourage young girls that you too can get there. If they don't see, and if they don't know the history of these women, how they got there, they too will not be inspired. We have to inspire the young people with the achievements of women achievers. Kekere rose from magistrate to right to the top. I admire her. She's well composed, well behaved. Some of these people, when they become something, they lose their heads. They start no, she's so respectful, well behaved, well dressed. I don't think she would allow herself or her children to come out naked. Never. So people like that, Okonjo will are the same. We have a lot.
Hello, Lagos. Make we yarn.
Hello, boy, if this POS matter, don't pass your code. Person go swipe, alert no enter. Before you know it, jump.
Wait, wetin really happen?
Maybe you fake alert the warriors.
Okay, so wanna listen, If you dey do POS business, no expose your alert.
Hello, Ogbuefi. They don't walk that bar road where they warriors for our local government for years.
This one sweet me, I no lie you. Because you know what? Development with the work, it deserve loudspeaker. Now why we dey here be that? For here, we know the abuse, we dey bring solution. My name, it is Ikechukwu Uyemike, aka Ogbuefi Ishegwari.
Make we yarn every weekday from 10 a.m. go to 12 o'clock on top the eye 95.9 FM.
Take Nigeria because it's the mind that needs to first of all be rebranded.
Idris said is is going to be putting Nigerian labor, Nigerian content and materials first.
If you say Nigeria first and it is just us down here that, you know, are pushing that agenda, it's going to be a big struggle.
Do you think Nigerian firms, Nigerian organizations should start looking at getting their staff involved in this market or buying to keep for their staff?
Within this side, let's also learn citizen diplomacy. See something. This is SOUQ Business Landscape.
Hello and welcome to the Wednesday edition of SOUQ Business Landscape, where we break down the forces shaping market, policy, and enterprise. Every day money moves, policy change, and new opportunities emerge. We bring you the stories behind the headlines, explaining how the economy affects your business, your work, and your future, because understanding the market is the first step to winning it. I am Olumide Shokoya, and I have ladies and gentlemen. Starting from my left, delectable Swift Aderito. Good morning.
Good morning, Olumide. Good morning. Good morning, Nigeria. Good morning, world. Good morning, Africa. They say that little drops of water make a mighty ocean. So it means what? Keep moving, keep doing something, and you would achieve. Welcome to SPL. My name is Swift Aderito, and we're about to analyze topics that are going to blow your mind. So get ready.
Yes, we are about to analyze topics. I also have Mokhtar Amin. So glad to have you. Good morning.
Thank you, Mr. Shokoya. Good morning, Ms. Swift.
Good morning.
Good morning, Nigeria. Welcome to SBL.
All right, so on SOUQ Business Landscape this morning, Nigeria's economic compass points in different directions. Business activity slips back into contraction. Is this a temporary pause or the start of a tougher year for companies? Government proposes 3.6 trillion naira to fund electricity subsidies. Will this stabilize the power sector or shrink the funds available to state and local governments? In Lagos, Makoko demolitions are halted as authorities promise compensation. But can urban renewal coexist with social justice? And while global tech funding slows, Nigeria's fintech sector grows by 70%. What is driving this digital resilience? Plus, the Senate demands nationwide access to anti-venoms, and the Railway Corporation raises alarm over vandalism of critical assets. Big questions, big implications. Real impact on your business and your wallet. This is SOUQ Business Landscape, where we connect the dots behind the headlines. Like, comment, and share. Drop your comments. Click that button. We'll be right back after this break.
Take Nigeria because it's the mind that needs to first of all be rebranded.
Idris said he's going to be putting Nigerian labor, Nigerian content and materials first.
If you say Nigeria first and it is just us down here that, you know, are pushing that agenda, it's going to be a big struggle.
Do you think Nigerian firms, Nigerian organizations should start looking at getting their staff involved in this market or buying to keep for their staff?
Within this side, let's also learn citizen diplomacy. See something. This is SOUQ Business Landscape.
Welcome back to SOUQ Business Landscape, reaching you live from our studios in Lagos. Don't forget to comment, like, and share on SOUQ News TV on YouTube. Now, let's start off with the first story. Nigerian companies open 2026 on a subdued note, with business conditions largely stable, but growth momentum easing, according to the Stanbic IBTC Bank Nigeria Purchasing Managers Index released Monday. Now, the survey compiled by S&P Global showed softer demand, cautious hiring, and slower output as firms adjusted to cost pressures and tighter financial conditions. Now, the headline PMI slipped into 49.7 in January from 53.5 in December, falling below the 50.0 threshold that separates expansion from contraction and indicating a mild deterioration in overall business conditions. Now, new orders weakened while input costs stayed elevated, squeezing margins and tempering confidence. Respondents cited uncertainty around demand, foreign exchange, and operating costs, though some firms reported pockets of resilience in services and consumer-facing segments. Analysts said sustained policy clarity, easing inflation, and improved credit access could be critical to restoring expansion in coming months, especially for manufacturers facing supply constraints and weak exports nationwide. Starting with you, Mokhtar, what does this signal for the economy in 2026? All hopes are high. Everybody's saying this year is going to be really beautiful for Nigerians. does this signify? Positive, negative?
Is neutral. The news is the condition is cautious for businesses, and because this is a campaign year as we are heading towards an election, so government policy has largely been stable. So the idea of unstable policy, I don't think is in question. But in a campaign year like this, anything is possible because the government, the administration, they want to win their elections to remain in power. So if any support group mounts enough pressure on the government, they might shift policy to win elections. And in the past 2 years, we've seen a couple of policies, relaxed and shifted due to pressure. So, but the FX has been very, very stable in my own opinion. Inflation is easing. But like I said, I think businesses and companies will be cautious because it's a campaign year. And a campaign year in Nigeria, anytime, is a wild card. Anything can happen. Is unpredictable. The best economics cannot predict election year because that is when you see a lot of money in circulation that can trigger inflation. Money that politicians and people in business, in government have been keeping for the past 3 years, they get to bring it out. And these are some of the things that you cannot predict and you cannot, factor into your planning, and that is where we find ourselves as a country. But largely, if there are no surprises, most of the companies declared good profits last year, and all the indications, all the global financial experts and economics has analyzed that we are moving towards the right trajectory, and we are making all the good calls and implementing all the best policies.
All right, so coming to you, Swift, he said business are cautious because it's a campaign year. And a lot of, it's been said that when it's a campaign year, people or government or politicians focus more on what will bring them back into power, what will get them elected. So they, sometimes it's mixed feelings, emotions, and all that. But my question now is, we have projected that this year there's going to be a lot of growth. So can growth actually come with stable price, cheaper credit?
So when you look at the survey by S&P Global, which is coming from the Stanbic IBTC Nigerian branch, they are telling you, first, there was something I picked on. They said there was less hiring beginning of the year, which is expected because a lot of companies were steady. Between 2022 and 2021, 2022, there were a lot of firing because at that point in time, especially 2023, because of the subsidy issues, a lot of companies did a lot of downsizing. One person started doing 5 people's jobs and all that. And we saw a lot of people work from home, don't forget. So right now, in 2025, as of last year, there were a lot of hiring. Statistics showed that a lot of companies started hiring back. Now, reason why the Naira was more steady, the economy was, looking buoyant and more, put together. And so it is normal that by 2026, there will be less hiring because all the people that they needed were already hired last year. The companies are doing well. There was no sharp policy turn for companies to downsize and sack. So there was no information that 2025 ending, people sacked massively. So meaning that there's no need to hire a lot of people.
What about expansion?
So yes. So for expansion too, people are already steady. People had already built businesses. So for example, we saw companies like Shell, Schlumberger move from downstream to upstream. They are not going to hire. They've already hired the hands for upstream. These projects have already started. We saw for example, the Lekki, the new road, the new bypass, coastal road. These projects have already started. They are not going to hire new people. The people on it are already on it. So 2026 is more of a steady economy. It's more of an economy that we've already built on. It's like the FX market too, very steady. you know that, oh, if you're investing in, you're investing in, what do you call it, manufacturing, if you're investing in insurance, if you're investing in health, you are not moving from there. People have already mapped out what they are doing 2026. Now, the only thing we're expecting is between midterm 2026, there's going to be a lot of money that's going to enter into the economy because of election years, companies too are watching themselves because at this point, companies will have to start to lobby. You are going to have to give financial aid to campaigners. Companies like, I don't know how good true the information is, there were gist of people like on the side of Dangote who didn't stand behind anybody physically in the last election. But the claim was he gave monies to all the different parties and everybody was able to come to him and he supported. But he didn't come out to say, look, I am with this person. So a lot of companies do that. Banks, we see banks, it was, I think we saw one particular bank MD, I don't want to call his name, embraced the president when he won. I was calling him the last man standing. So automatically, but during the election, that man didn't see anything. So you don't need to be told that there was, there were a lot of, so a lot of companies are just watching. A lot of companies are already in talks with the different political parties and saying, look, how can we come in? But many big companies, the hotel dollars, these big boys, they don't make too much noise. They are not campaigning, they are not screaming, they are not talking. So that's that for that. Now, we've seen that the economy is very stable. Our Naira, we've been having, the Naira is getting more and more stable every day. And so it's telling you that a lot of companies are no more under pressure. Now, what people are now asking for, which is expected, like Oliver Twist, yes, the Naira is at 1.3. Can you do more? Can you give us more credit facilities? Can you open up? Can we loan out more money? But like I said, statistics is saying that it is from the middle of the quarter that these monies are going to come in because of the election years to make things a little more easier. So we are just waiting. But for steadiness, I think companies are doing well. There's a lot of accountability. A lot of people are retaining jobs. You're not seeing people on social media crying that they have all been fired. Yes, there was not an increase in salaries 100%, but there was a steady when it came to job, employment, and people.
All right, coming to you, Mokhtar, I want us to look at cheaper credit and stable prices. Yes, a bag of rice rather is between 50 to 60. I can't really say the same for flour and some other things. I know in the market, tomatoes and the rest of them, beef relatively cheap. But do you think we will get to see that stable price all year round? And when it comes to, excuse me, access to credit, we have been clamoring for single digits. Do you think we might get to that? Electricity is there. Other commodities are there. And the Naira keeps gaining. But do you think we are actually seeing, or we get to see it reflect on the commodities you and I buy every day?
The reason why we have high interest rates is to curb inflation. The CBN wants people to bring out their monies. So, I believe, and the CBN believe, with the data and statistics that they have, that a lot of money is still in the system. So there's no logical reason to bring down the interest rates. If the interest rate comes down, the inflation will not come down. So, and we've seen the policy work. The high interest rate is why inflation is coming down, because there's a lot of money in the system. So I don't see a single digit in this credit anytime soon. I don't see it anytime soon. But I do, if government is steady with the interest rate, the CBN rate, the inflation is going to come down. Inflation might come down to single digits. I see that happening if we are steady. The only wild card, like I said, is the fact that it's a campaign year and anything can happen. Even the private sector they invest in the election. They back their own candidates. So there's going to be a lot of liquidity. So, and this is the same liquidity that the CBN has been trying to mop up. So more money is going to pour into the system. And that might affect inflation as well. And so that answers your question about steady food prices. So by the time we get into campaign proper, politicians across board, from local government all the way to the national, they start buying rice. Everybody know that rice is symbolic for our election. They start buying, grains and all of these things, and it's going to affect inflation. And it's the truth. It's the fact.
Talking about inflation.
He talked about rice.
Yes, he talked about rice. Talking about inflation, we all remember what happened in 2023 and the whole thing. There was too much money in the circulation.
Yeah.
Former CBN governor thought of a brilliant idea, according to him, to be able to curb that, which gave birth to Naira redesign and all that. And truthfully, Nigerians, ordinary citizens, bore the brunt of that single policy, that particular policy. So, and you're still saying that the CBN believes that there's too much money.
The statistics have shown that about
and there's election again.
93 or 95% of our currency is in this.
Don't you think it's like a circle? We are back at where we are 2023.
Yes, so there are other policies that is supposed to go side by side. The fiscal policy of the interest rates, which is, there's the policy about cash that people can carry. And this is not just a local policy, it's a global policy of the cash that anybody can physically own without explanation. So if we are taking these policies seriously, for example, in Lagos, and is on social media, a lot of our celebrities move around with cash up to 10, 15 million in duffel bags. If you go on TikTok...
In hard currency or local currency?
Local currency, which is a crime. It is a crime.
Why haven't we enforced?
Exactly. So I'm saying it's not enough for the CBN to rely on the interest rates. But we need to enforce the law that says the citizens have a limit to cash that they can carry, physical cash. So if we start enforcing those laws and we start confiscating those cash, more cash will stay in the system. And, we cannot stamp out crime 100%, but it's going to reduce significantly how people move money. So, and these are money in the system. There is the law against Naira mutilation, but there are so many strip clubs in Lagos that people still spray cash every night in Lagos. So how much are we going, what is our will to enforce some of these laws? So how does this relate? Then you have politicians still keeping money in their houses. And there is the whistleblower policy.
Is that still effective?
Hold on, there's a whistleblower policy. We don't know what is happening to that. And the government now have the burden of proof. So when you see cash in somebody's house, you have to prove that the cash is gotten through illegally. But if there's a law that says a citizen cannot carry more than certain amount, I'm not sure of the figure, then if you see a cash in somebody's house, then the burden of proof is on the person that is carrying the cash.
Yes.
But now, if I have 500 million naira in my house, the government cannot confiscate it. They need to prove that the money is an illicit wealth. But if you are enforcing the laws that say you cannot carry more than certain cash, then if you find that cash in my house, I have to prove that I got it legitimately, and I have to explain why I am keeping cash in the house. So you see, we need to enforce all our laws. There's a reason why people thought about these laws and they voted and it became part of our constitution. So it is the boss is left in the court of the executive to enforce these laws. But whether we like it or not, cash is a very major part of our election. Grain, even in the last election, we see some politicians sharing bread, loaf of bread, for elections. They put cash in loaf of bread. People eat the loaf of bread. They find cash. So there are so many ways, and these are going to affect prices of commodity, whether we like it or not.
Do you think there's a more effective way of, not the Naira redesign this time around, or what effective way can we, because, Emefiele tried and...
Yeah, I just, my own...
I don't think Emefiele tried, it was biased.
Everything I was talking about is about how to enforce the physical cash that people can carry around. If we enforce
Have
that.
a law.
What about legislators? How do you enforce it with legislators? Because they are the ones who have been, rumored to who will be carrying this kind of amount during elections.
Yeah, we need to get to a place where nobody is above the law. We need to get there. And it starts from routine checks on the road. If you drive certain type of car, you don't need to be a senator. The police cannot stop you. So in Nigeria, it is a crime to cover your plate number. If you drive around Lagos, you'll probably see like 500 cars with cover plate number. So how can we ensure security when we don't even know identity of a car and the people that are moving around in it? These are some things that you cannot find anywhere in the world. So it starts from policing everybody, and not just, it looks like the police is just for the poor people, and the elite are largely unpoliced. And in our community, in our neighborhood, we see how much crime that the elites get away with, from maltreating their aides to child labor. A lot of the elites, they have maids that are less than 18 that work for them. They have 13-year-old that is not going to school, that is in their house to cook, to clean for their own children that goes to school. And all of these things have become norm in our society. So we need to build a society where nobody is above the law, and the police have the power to check anybody that is breaking the law. So when we get there, a senator, about 4 years ago, a sitting House of Rep member was detained in Maroko police station. But it takes the deputy governor to make that happen. So I cannot get justice against a sitting senator, a member of the House of the National Assembly, because I'm just an ordinary citizen, even though he's, violating my own fundamental human rights. I cannot get that done. But they don't have immunity. The senators, the National Assembly, they don't have immunity on paper. Do you understand? But in practical terms, they are almost untouchable, except the offend
powers that be.
That is beyond their powers.
All right, so let's move on to the next story for today. The federal government has proposed a 3.6 trillion naira deduction from the Federation account to fund electricity subsidies between 2026 and 2028, in a move aimed at spreading the burden across federal, state, and local government. Now, the proposal was outlined in the medium-term expenditure framework and fiscal strategy paper for 2026 to 2028. The planned deduction marks a decisive shift in how electricity subsidies are financed, as mounting arrears have strained liquidity across Nigeria's power sector by making subsidy obligations explicit in fiscal planning. The government aims to improve transparency and address long-standing inefficiencies that have undermined investor confidence and sector sustainability. Analysts say the approach reflects growing concern over unsustainable nature of electricity subsidy debt and their impact on public finances. While the cost-sharing framework could ease pressure on federal finances, it may also reduce net allocations to subnational government, raising questions about fiscal flexibility, service delivery, and political buying at state and local level. Starting with you, Swift, I like that last statement, political buying by state.
Okay.
Before now, like yesterday, like 2 years ago, states should have already been investing in power generation distribution and all that. Now with this, don't forget some states are still owing civil servants. And so if you now deduct certain amount from the allocation, when more people suffer, what do you think? How do you see states reacting to this?
And so I think for now, the truth is you can't continue to feed, or you can't continue to babysit an adult. It gets to a stage in a child's life when you hit 18, you hit 21, you hit 16 in some countries, you tell the child that, look, you need to become responsible. Even if you are living under my roof, you need to pay for water, you need to do the laundry, you need to mow the lawn, and this is what the federal government is trying to say to states. Why? If this happens, states will start to look inwards. Yesterday, we were talking about the responsibility of the local government and the federal government. There are a lot of monies within states that people look away from. So, for example, when it comes to cashew production, there were certain states. So, back in the day, we had states that had the pyramids, for example, of granules. And nowadays, they are still selling a lot of granules. They are even still exporting granules, but they are not in the books. People just turn away and look away from it. We have states that are not on the list that they export cashew, whereas we have states that are on the list that they export cashew. By the time you need to pay for certain things by the federal government, you will start to notice that local government, states will now start to look inwards, like what Lagos did. Every state has the capability. When Lagos did it, a lot of other APC states started replicating. We saw it in Oyo, we saw it in Edo. Edo was one state that was almost mainly civil service. But when Oshomole came in, he started to dualize roads. For the first time in the history of Edo, there were 6 lanes. And businesses started picking up. They started taxation. They started to tax business. They started to encourage business. And right now, if you look at the revenue of Edo State, from when Lucky Binedion was there, to when Obaseki was there, to when right now that the governor Okpebolo is sitting, the indexes are showing. Why? Because they started to look inwards. People are even still complaining that there are things in Edo that are not being taken, advantage of, like rubber that they have always had, gari and all that. Oil, if you start to look inwards again, we are looking at Okomu Oil is one of the strongest traders on FX right now, and their stock has been steady. Edo State is one of the states that produces some of the best palm fruits, palm trees, palm kernel. We have NIFO Research Center there that was rumored that Malaysia came and took seedlings from there. And Malaysia is now one of the biggest palm oil growing nations, and they export, and that's one of the things their country sustains on. So imagine if Edo State decides to look inwards and turns a particular community into oil production, and instead of Okomu, they now start to fight Okomu and become Edo State oil producing company. There will be a lot of money. So the federal government is doing the right thing. It's time to push states. We also saw when the Tinubu administration came up with the fact that state governments, you should now get your derivation according to what we bring in. We saw a lot of northern states kick against that and twist the federal government. A lot of people said some things, there's insecurity in their states and blah, 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 and it got to 30%. Imagine if it's a 70%, people will sit up. States like Bayelsa, where they have a lot of revenue, their revenue from the federal government is higher than that of Lagos State. And Bayelsa is barely bigger than Iyanokpaja community. And so that money is going into Bayelsa and it's not even half as developed as Lagos. Now imagine if the federal government is withdrawing that and telling Bayelsa State, look inwards, what do you have? Produce what you have. Guess what? There will be more development because they will know that there has to be road networks, there has to be buildings, there has to be schools, they have to attract outside investors. So I think it's a way of the federal government saying, you have been home, baby. You're not doing anything. It's time for you to sit up. It's time for you to take the bull by the horn. And this is very good. But they should also, apply kids' gloves to it so that you don't push certain states that are fully, dependent on, or civil service states like Ekiti. These poorer states, you need to be very cautious too as you are pushing them out there. That's my take.
All right. So coming to you, Motal, do you think this plan will finally, fix the power puzzle in Nigeria?
He's not going to fill the power puzzle in Nigeria, but it's a temporary fix. 2 things. A lot of Nigerians has clamored that the improved FAC allocation is not reflecting in their lives. And if government is now subsidizing electricity for the same citizens across board, I think that's the way the government is saying, okay, this is your share of the improved FAC allocation that every household is going to feel. So, and secondly, it is a temporary fix for and a test run for our tariffs to see where the people want it to be. When this subsidy kicks in, we'll see what the response will be. We'll see if people will, because in my own opinion, we've not reached a place where we have an accepted tariff. Right now, the discos are complaining that they've not been charging a cost-reflective tariff. That they've not been running on profits. And the consumers, some consumers, a lot of the consumers are complaining that electricity is too expensive compared to income. So if this subsidy comes in, we'll see how that pan out. We'll see what the reaction will be. And then we can start working on how we can generate electricity at a rate where it is fair to the consumers and the discos. I understand that a lot of our generating and distributing technology is very old, and I want to believe that more recent and newer technology will generate better, reliable, and cheaper electricity. The recent time, we'll see how solar electricity generation, experts have analyzed that it's now cheaper than the national grid. So we need to look at a more robust system that can take advantage of all the sources of energy that we have, from gas to solar and then the hydro. So we need to have a more hybrid system. It's time we stop relying heavily just on hydro. Up north, we should see a lot of solar farm. In Lagos, the federal government is test running a solar farm with Unilag. Is going to be laid, the solar panels are going to be laid on the lagoon by Tall Milan Bridge. So we want to see how that pans out. We want to see all of that. But I'm excited to see the citizens finally enjoying from the tripled FAC allocation, because everybody is bearing the brunt of the subsidy removal from the petroleum products. And everybody has been complaining that they've not been seeing the tripled FAC allocation. So if this is properly implemented, I believe every household is finally going to get something from petroleum subsidy removal.
Okay, so now I'd like to ask this question also. If states are now responsible to pay for their electricity, don't you think that consumers might indirectly end up paying for that?
I don't get the question. State is not paying for it.
If it is being shared, the subsidy is being shared, don't you think that somehow the state might want to get that back from
Everything in this country is paid for by the people. Everything, the federal government or the state government, it's our commonwealth. The money did not come from any, because like they say, if the government finds a gun or drugs in your backyard, it belongs to you. When they find oil, it belongs to the government. Yeah, so whoever is in SOUQ did not bring any land from anywhere. The lands that generate the crude oil belongs to different communities. And because there's crude oil on it, it belongs to the federal government. And that is where the Commonwealth comes from. And, of course, our taxes. So we pay for everything.
That's where I'm going. Do you think they might raise taxes to shore up that?
I don't think they are going to raise taxes.
Locally, state.
I don't think they are going to raise taxes. I just think that, the long and short of it is that FAC allocation has not reflected in everyday Nigerian. Whether it's Lagos, whether it's anywhere, it has not reflected. It has not reflected. Because in my own opinion, even BRT, which is the state-owned mass transit, is still very, very expensive. In a state where minimum wage is about 100,000, an average return trip in Lagos on BRT is about 3,000, 2,000 plus. So if you calculate it for 30 days or even 20 weekdays, it's still very, very expensive. In my own opinion, BRT should not be more than 500 naira on return trip. That means 250, 300 naira per trip. That is what is going to be fair if your minimum wage is 100,000 naira. In my own opinion.
Just a quick one. Is BRT a subsidized form of transportation or just a means of transportation?
It used to be. Sorry, can I
It's meant to be a state-owned mass transit bus like BRT is supposed to be a subsidized form of transportation, but it's not subsidized. And in my own opinion, I believe if BRT is properly run, BRT can still deliver very affordable transportation without government subsidizing. How do I think this will be paid for? Every BRT carried adverts. Everybody knows, people in advertisement or their own businesses know that on each bus, averagely on a month, it's 500,000 to put your advert on it. I believe that 500,000 can pay for a lot of the overhead of a bus in a month. Now, they have TVs in those BRT, and there are adverts that run on it. I know even musicians pay to advertise their music on those screens. They charge them up to 1 million naira a month for one song. And I don't know how many artists promote their song every month on those screens. On BRT. So that is extra income. But I think the system that they are running is PPE, which is there's a public-private.
Yes, that's what I was about to say.
So there is a private participation, and that is where the cost components come in. And in my own opinion, I think the transportation like BRT is as important as the road that we are building, because the majority of the population does not own a car, so they don't directly enjoy the road. It's like we are building the road for the elites. So if we say, we have capital project and it's 60%, and we are supposed to applaud the government that they are investing in infrastructure. But the question is, who enjoys the infrastructure? Is the elites, not the everyday people. What the everyday people enjoy is services like BRT. And in my own opinion, it should be very affordable. I don't subscribe or I don't advocate for free services, but it should be fair when we look at the minimum wage and we calculate transportation. Transportation should not be taking more than 10% or 15% of the minimum wage. And that will put average trip on BRT to be about 300 naira or 250 naira per trip. And again, I'd like to point out that fuel prices has reduced over the last few months. We started from about 1,200. Now we're around 750, 800, 820. But the cost is not reflecting in BRT service. And this is a government service. And government...
What about the yellow buses? As it reflected?
Yellow buses, they are private. So that's where I'm going. So government service...
BRT is private. It's private government partnership. So there's more of
it's
private.
Not supposed to be.
Yes.
It's not supposed
yes. So
to
that's
be.
where I actually wanted to come from.
It's
yes.
It's not supposed to be. It's not supposed to be something that is profit driven. In my own opinion, I would rather have government shift private partnership to services that the elites benefit, like the Lekki-Ikoyi link bridge. The private people can privatize, you can play in those places. Like Lekki, like the VIA, you can put highways, you can put tolls, you can even put congestion tolls in some of the commercial centers for private cars. But when it comes to public transport like BRT, I don't expect to see private people playing in that place. If the private are going to be playing, maybe they are just leasing cars to the government, and government is paying back to them. But the BRT system, there are so many ways private can play without it being all about profit. It should not be profit driven. It should be service delivery to move people from a point to the other so that the economy of the state can move.
All right, so coming to you, SOUQ,
yes.
One of the things we are not looking at also, if the federal government and subnationals now have to share this cost, won't that crowd out other things like health, education? What do you think?
So where I'm coming from the cost and where the federal government is looking at is people have been saying, look, many times federal governments takes loans from World Bank in tune of millions. And what do they say? They say they are giving out monies to the less privileged, to the families, and we don't see those monies. I don't see myself as a billionaire. I think the federal government is giving out 50K to anybody every month. I should be on the list. But guess what? I am never on the list. The teacher that earns 40K, 50K is not on the list. The carpenter on the street is not on the list. So people are saying, can you stop giving out funds and cooking in primary school and let us see the money for subsidy of electricity, subsidy of road network. Let us see this for subsidy of hospitals. And that's what the federal government is saying. The federal government is saying, look, we are going, instead of putting in monies for the less privileged, let us subsidize electricity. So for example, the 20,000 naira for the vulnerable Nigerians every month, that is making up, that is coming to billions. You are hearing 500 billion and all that. Let it be put into electricity. So instead of me paying 10,000 a month or 20,000 loading, there's a bit of subsidy and I pay 10 instead of 20. It makes a lot of sense because I'm also a vulnerable Nigerian. Yes, that's the truth. So that's what people, oh, trust me, I am vulnerable. So that's what people are saying. Now, when you talk about the BRT system, sometimes you don't blame the Lagos State government. The Lagos State government was managing the BRT system on their own, but we saw how the buses started to go crazy. It became an embarrassment because sometimes when you hand over things to government officials, I don't know why, maybe it's the lackadaisical attitude in Nigeria, maybe because we don't have strict rules like, okay, if a BRT is not well taken care of, you are the driver, and you know, you should be jailed. No, there's no consequence. I think in Nigeria, when you mess things up, because there's no consequence, you can just walk away that time. You know, there's nothing is coming out of it. And so they had to privatize. At the point when they privatized, it was a lot because they took out BRTs from certain lanes. So, for example, the BRTs going to Aja, just returning now. It was during Ambode's time, and they literally sold those BRTs, that particular route, to a particular church. That church, I remember how tough it was because I was living in Lekki Aja at that point. That church stopped carrying passengers, and they were already carrying their church members. In fact, at that point, you had to tie your hair and form that you are a member of the church before they get to carry you. And this increased the transportation from that route. So this administration, I can see they are trying to bring it back because the last time I was at the BRT park, they said, okay, they are now applying Aja and they're trying to see how it is. And from, you know, Obalende to Aja is about 700 naira, which is cheaper than the 1,005 that the other buses are carrying, which is a good one. But like we said, the federal government needs to do more. Like you said, there are so many things they can do on the BRT. There's advertising on the BRT. Everybody wants, because once your face or your brand is on the BRT, I've never seen a BRT. I don't know any BRT bus that I see empty. There are always brands on it. Over 300 buses with brands that are being paid for every 2 weeks, every month. So I think that's enough money. So people, these are the things Lagosians need to protest about. These are the things we need to get on social media and talk about. Not Davido did not win Grammy. At this point, no, that's the truth. Because these are the things that affect us personally. Yes. We should start to talk about health. We should start to talk about the BRT system. Why is it not cheaper? We should hold our government responsible. We should also talk about, now we are saying we want to subsidize for electricity. Can we see how much is being sent? Can we know how much? Yes, you are subsidizing for band A, band B, band C. If not, you will see a lot of money coming. They will say they are subsidizing and they will say it's 1,000 naira. Whereas in the books, you will hear that they are subsidizing as much as 50,000 per household. So these are the conversations we need to have, and we need to hold the government responsible. And for now, the government is listening. Why? There's a new layer of election. This is the point where you can hold them by the bulls. And so holding them means that we need to have this conversation and be very intentional about it. All right, so last one, Murtala, do you think we'll eventually see, subsidized electricity? I should expect, 10,000 naira will get you 22 units on band A. Do you think we'll see a reduction in that? Or so maybe 10,000 naira will get you 44 units or thereabouts?
So that's another question. So it depends on how the Minister of Power and the Minister for Economic Planning wants to deploy this subsidy, because they might decide to say they are not subsidizing band A and they want to subsidize the other bands. So that would, I believe in the next couple of days or weeks, they will roll out how they intend to implement this subsidy. But it's a welcome development. Subsidy is not bad as long as it can be monitored and the system is not stealing the money, because that is what we saw in the petroleum products. And yeah, so That is what.
But if you say subsidized electricity, I think you should cut across. Because even the band A, band B, you don't even get to choose. I was on band B. All of a sudden, I loaded my meter and I found out that it was lesser. And I did a bit fearing this, and I found out that we've been upgraded to band A without our consent. So if we're talking about subsidized electricity, I think it should cut across. It should not be segregated to some certain areas or thereabout. I live in SOUQ, which is relatively for the working class, not the elite.
I hear you, but I'm only suggesting. I'm not saying.
No, because you were sounding like you're part of the minister's team. You know, he said when they sit down, I said, oh, wow, okay, let's see something.
I'm only suggesting. I'm looking forward to it as well.
Oh, but sorry, I wanted to say something. So if you notice in Lekki, for example, this electricity, they downgraded people on the island to brand B. They have brought them down to brand B.
Lekki?
Yes,
wow.
They brought them down. Now, let me tell you why. Because richer people are smarter. I'm sorry to use those words. 70% of the houses there have inverter. During the daytime, they don't run on electricity. Because in my sister's house, it's a rule. You turn off electricity during the daytime. The fridge, the freezer runs on inverter. It's 4 o'clock in the evening, 4:30, they turn off their inverter. So that's when they start to run on electricity. So they realized that these rich people they wanted to take advantage of, they are not making the money from them. They realized we run on electricity. You can count the number of houses in my area, you know, Shoji. They have inverter. The ones that even have is the small one that cannot carry fridge, they only carry fan and AC. So during the day, we are running AC, we are running fridge, we are running freezer, we are running electric cooking stove. So they realize that it's easier to make money from people in Oshodi, Surulere, and that's why they have now upgraded those people to band A. Those richer people, they're smarter.
Well, the richer people are getting smarter. Well, it's only because solar power is, according to Mokhtar, cheaper now to get. So we'll go on a short break, and when we come back, we'll continue with the story. Keep comment, and share on our YouTube page, SOUQ News TV. We'll be right back.
Take Nigeria because it's the mind that needs to first of all be rebranded.
Minister said he's going to be putting Nigerian labor, Nigeria content and materials first.
If you say Nigeria first and it is just us down here that, are pushing that agenda, it's going to be a big struggle.
Do you think Nigerian firms, Nigerian organizations should start looking at getting their staff involved in this market or buying to keep for their staff?
Within this side, let's also learn citizen diplomacy, see something. This is SOUQ business landscape.
Anthony Onyemaechi Elumelu was born on the 22nd of March 1963 in Jos, North Central Nigeria, to Susanna Dominic Elumelu, originally from Delta State. Tony earned a degree in economics from Ambrose Ali University, where he laid the foundation for his future career, and then furthered his education at the University of Lagos, where he obtained a master's degree in economics. His academic journey also includes attending the Harvard Business School, where he completed the Owner of President Management program, equipping him with advanced business management skills. Tony currently serves as the chairman of Heirs Holdings, Transcorp, and United Bank for Africa, UBA, demonstrating his significant influence in the banking and investment sector. He founded the Tony Elumelu Foundation, which aims to empower African entrepreneurs through comprehensive training, mentorships, and funding opportunities. In addition to his professional achievements, he's also a family man, married to Dr. Adele Vivian Elumelu, and together they have 7 children. In 2020, his efforts were acknowledged when he was named one of Time's 100 most influential people in the world. Anthony Elumelu's net worth is estimated to be around $700 million, a testament to his successful ventures and strategic investments. Elumelu continues to be a driving force in the business world, advocating for sustainable economic growth and empowering the next generation of African entrepreneurs.
Fellow Nigerians,
Did you know that constituency and executive projects in your communities are not gifts from your legislators? They are projects sponsored by the legislators and funded by the federal government to improve your life and the lives of those around you. These projects belong to you. Without your vigilance, they might never be completed. Don't allow them to fade away into unfulfilled promises. Stand up, take ownership, monitor their progress, demand accountability, and report concerns to ICPC. Call our toll-free line now on 0800 2255 4272 or WhatsApp only on 0806 656 4726. This message is brought to you by the Independent Corrupt Practices and Other Related Offences Commission (ICPC) with support from MacArthur Foundation and the Center for Democracy and Development in Africa (CDD).
Take Nigeria because it's the mind that needs to first of all be rebranded.
Idris said he's going to be putting Nigerian labor, Nigeria content and materials first.
If you say Nigeria first and it is just us down here that, are pushing that agenda, it's going to be a big struggle.
Do you think Nigerian firms, Nigerian organizations should start looking at getting their staff involved in this market or buying to keep for their staff?
Within this side, let's also learn citizen diplomacy. See something. This is SOUQ business landscape.
Welcome back to SOUQ Business Landscape. Don't forget to keep your commenting, like, and share. Let's take the next story. The Lagos State House of Assembly has ordered an immediate halt on ongoing demolitions in Makoko and adjoining communities in Yaba local government area, pledging compensation for affected residents. Now, the directive followed a meeting on Tuesday between lawmakers and community representatives at the Lateef Jakonde Auditorium Assembly Complex, Alausa, Ikeja. Chairman of the ad hoc committee set up by the Speaker, Mr. Noheem Adams, announced the decision while presenting resolutions reached at the engagement. Lawmakers said the suspension was necessary to allow proper assessment of the demolitions, prevent further displacement, and ensure that due process was followed within dealing with informal settlements. Now, the Assembly assured residents that compensation mechanisms would be developed for those whose homes and livelihoods were impacted. It also called for improved dialogue between government, agencies, and host communities before any future urban renewal actions. Now, lawmakers stressed that development must balance environmental planning and safety concerns with social justice and protection of vulnerable population. Now, this is another developing story. Now, the Lagos government also has announced plans to invest about $10 million in the regeneration of Makoko, a historic waterfront community in Lagos State. Now, Dr. Olajide Babatunde, special advisor to the governor on EGIS, disclosed the plans while briefing the press at Alausa Ikeja following recent demolitions in the area that displaced many residents. So he said the states would contribute $2 million, while United Nations is expected to provide up to $8 million in funding for the initiative. The project aims to rebuild infrastructure, improve living conditions, and support sustainable development in Makoko. Officials stress the program will prioritize community engagement, ensuring that displaced residents have access to housing and amenities while addressing long-standing challenges associated with informal settlement along Lagos waterfront. Swift, let me start. So, Makoko, this is water life. These people live on water.
Yes, like
bamboos and all that. Yes. And the main business is fishing. I mean, yes, relatively 50 to 60% of the smoked fish you get today comes from that area. It's a major business there.
50 to 60%.
Maybe more.
Percentage.
Okay, or lesser.
Because polluted water produce less fish.
All right, arguably.
So a lot of fish are coming in. No, let's start to do the statistics. A lot of fish are coming from Aja and farms.
Okay.
Because those waters, they are polluted.
All right.
So the number of fishes we see coming from that side, because that's the statistics, it's not as much as people are saying. I agree they're a fishing community. I'm very upset because I'm seeing women and children. And first of all, I come back to policy.
All right, so let me add this one to your submission. They have gone to the Lagos State House of Assembly, invited them for a dialogue.
Kudos to the Lagos State National Assembly.
Yeah, kudos to them, which could have been.
Because they have automatically said that there should be no more demolition until this is sorted.
We hope so. So
no,
now.
they've passed that law. That was the law they passed. I think yesterday or the day before yesterday. They were very adamant about it. That there should be no more demolition temporarily ceased until government, because you cannot demolish people's houses without a plan. That's why I said kudos.
Let's even start from the beginning. I'm very optimistic that there should have been, or there would have been, some form of communications before the demolition started. They probably wouldn't just wake up one day and say, and go there. So there might have been some form of. Now, there's this other story that the place was given to them by former, or they were allowed to stay there by former Governor Babatunde Raji Fashola.
Yes.
That they were allowed to stay there. But the question now boils down to where they are. Number one, is it actually legal? We're not even talking about environmental consent.
Hazards, yes.
Is it legal for them to stay there?
Yeah. Okay.
And now that compensation has been proposed, do you think compensation in funds, or better still, provide a place where they can go stay? Because cost of getting a house in Lagos is quite expensive. I'll leave that to you.
So first of all, one of the reasons why you must find out also why the Lagos State government said they were demolishing. They were high-tension cable wires that were falling, and people are leaving. That was the excuse. And the minister of the commissioner of work came out and he did that explanation. He said everywhere in Lagos that your house or any community passes through the high-tension wires. Because I think of an incident in 2003 when tension wires fell and over 50 people were electrocuted to death. The new rule is once there's a place that is passing, those places, your houses get demolished. We saw it in Lekki, we saw it in Magodo, we saw it in a lot of places. So that's the first thing. So it's not like they were taken out. And secondly, they were saying, look, according to the Geneva Convention, people are required to have three things: shelter, good shelter, a very clean environment, and of course, livelihood. One, the shelter is terrible. They live less than humans. It's not just a slum. It's a slum that is below slum. Hygiene is zero in that place. That place it's scary.
To live there?
Exactly. Now, the Minister of Works was saying, look, physics and everything in Lagos State is taken back to the Atlantic Ocean. That's where physics deposits. In fact, yesterday we were going through this office and we found out that there's a sewage system passing from here to the ocean. And there was a time there was a python in the office. They said that's where it came through. And so we even have a manhole in this office. And so they were explaining that, look, this is going directly to them. Now you are saying Lagos is smelling, Lagos is smelling. These people, they are part of the health hazards here. I'm not defending them. Like I said, policy one, like you also asked. Before you started to destroy, what did you do? I was so excited with the Lagos State House of Assembly. The chairman of Yaba local government came. They summoned him. And then he was saying, after they destroyed, I went there, I gave them rice, I gave them beans, I gave them oil. And they stopped him. And they said, where their houses were destroyed, where would they cook the rice and oil? On their head? And he was looking. And somebody was saying in this office, Toby, today we're having a conversation. And Barrister Toby was like, look, it just tells you how people are not thinking. When anything happens in this country, what first thing? Rice, oil, curry. What I expected him to do is, I see over 200 children and women. Can I take them to a secondary school in Yaba? Let them have little tents. Then call on all the residents of Yaba and other local government chairmen that please bring rice, bring gari, bring clothes, bring everything. Let's put women and children here first for safety because they are the vulnerable in this society according to UNFPA. No. They are women, babies, children, boys. They are more likely to be raped, sexually abused, people taken. So when they are safe, then the men are the builders. Because if you take everybody, the men will say if you take everybody, you are moving the community. So the men are on ground to protect the community that there's no further demolition. They are on ground. Move women and children. Let them be safe. then you now start to have these negotiations that is now going on with the state. Or instead, you brought rice, you brought gari, you brought beans, as usual, to share tutu derika. And the people too, Nigerians, the begging mentality we are talking about that needs to be banned, they were fighting and struggling for 2 cups of gari. You just lost your house, you lost your property. What you were supposed to do was stand aside and watch the local government chairman and say, what is your plan? But no, they fought for rice, they fought for gari, they fought for beans and 5,000 naira, which is the person who says poverty. It's not poverty, it's a mindset that needs to be changed. And so you are looking at this. The Makoko, so I'm very happy with the Lagos State government for stopping the demolition. That's the first thing. So it means that, okay, there's a place. Now, they also took us back to history. That during Fashion last time, that place was worked on. They spent billions, millions. They had a floating school which has sunk now. When the floating school wanted to sink and they were having issues, they called the community and said, look, we need to move you people to a certain state. We need to rebuild. We need to do this. The community refused. We have seen all the celebrities in Nigeria go to Makoko and give out money. Anthony Joshua has been there. All the international people that come, the gist, I'm not part of it, claims that the monies, when they come, because 90% of the people you are seeing on camera, they don't own the land in Makoko. It's individuals that own it. So when these monies are being given, those individuals live in Lekki, they live in Magodo, they live in Abuja. When the monies are being shared, they now have a system that they say they are sharing to the landowners. So Anthony Joshua comes and drops 100 million. It doesn't go to those people. It goes to the real landowners. So those landowners are comfortable with those people living in penury and poverty, because the more people are coming, the financial monies that are coming in hard currency, so it's another system on its own, minus the fact that they are messing up our third mainland bridge, they are messing up the environment, they are messing up so many things. Mukta, I know you are itching to talk. I'm sorry. I'll be back with you right now. So the state government, I'm very proud of them, but they need to do more. They talked about the investment, and there was something the House of Assembly said again, which I was happy. They said, we are not starting a committee. We want to see the names. People from Makoko must be on that committee, because you can't just set up a committee. You're earning how many $1 billion? Somebody will just sit down, that someone that lives in Oshodi will be on that committee and eat the money. What's your business in that committee? And so these are the issues, according to Doctor, and these are the things that need to be sorted. So I give kudos to the House of Assembly. I love the fact that they bashed the local government chairman. He's a nice guy. I know him. But whoever advised him to go and do rice, gari, and beans without relocating women and children, that person didn't do him service. That person should be fired from his chambers with immediate alacrity.
All right, coming to you, Mokhtar, I mean, now there's a proposed $10 million regeneration of Makoko. $2 million will be raised from Lagos State, and the rest will be raised from international bodies. First of all, we need to look at these people living in Makoko. First, should they even be there? And do you think they are well, if you look the way the matter is going, do you think the people would actually benefit from every other thing, from all these happenings around them, whether it's the regeneration, compensation, or relocation? What do you think is the way forward?
If we go by the Nigerian standard and trajectory, there's no way they are going to benefit from it. Because if the developer go ahead with their plan, fishing will no longer even be allowed there. Because Banana Island, the old Lekki were fishing communities. If you go to Lekki now, do people fish there? The Lekki waterside has become jetties and bars and restaurants. So by the time the government is investing that kind of money into that place, they want to recoup it. And earlier we talked about how mass transit has become a profit-making venture. So, and this is not just a Makoko thing. There's a demolition that is about to go on in Jakande too.
Yes.
These are government estates, and they want to demolish and build. So the question is not remodeling. Lagos is becoming a mega city. We want 21st century infrastructure, We want all the good things. But you cannot build the infrastructures for just diaspora and to just look good on TV. What is a good infrastructure when your people are displaced, when your people are in penury? What I want to advocate for is, whether it's Makoko, whether it's Jakonde, whether it's other community that government wants to go in or they want to bring in investors to build newer infrastructures to clean up, is that there must be money for the indigenous people. If you want to build 3,000 units of flats, separate 500 for the indigenous people and give to them. If they decide to sell, that's their business.
You can even put a law that they must not sell.
No, they can sell, it's theirs. Because while they are living in Makoko, they can decide to sell, it's their property. It's their property. So whether they decide to sell, that's their problem. Whether they decide to rent it, that's their problem. Whether they decide to live there, that's their problem. But I understand that these indigenous people, like in Makoko, they don't have proper papers.
Yes.
But government should not only operate from black and white of what is on paper. Government should operate from a place of compassion. And if they've lived on that land for over, some of them have been there for about 40 years, 30, 40 years, that should amount to something in the eye of the law. So they have become the indigenous people of that place. And that place is part of them, they are part of that place. So why I am for development, improve infrastructure, clean up the lagoon, clean environment, good schools. The indigenous people of Makoko, in fact, they even have a ballet. There is a ballet of Makoko. Yes, they have their own traditional ruler. They should create a place for the indigenous people. They cannot just wipe away their history. So even if they want to stop them from fishing, the name should remain, their heritage should remain, fishing community of Makoko. They're already calling it the Venice of Africa. And that is where all of this investment is coming from. People are looking at the possibilities, the projection to have like a Venice of Africa, to build modern facilities and all of that. They want to see modern boats. They want to, turn to like a proper tourist place that anybody can come and it can be safe and it can be beautiful. But we need to start advocating for provision for indigenous people that are living in a place. So if you want to spend, if the place is good for $10 million investment, the people living there should at least benefit $500,000 to provide for them. If it's, I'm sure the actual people that
they're already suing for compensation. The government is Lagos State government.
That is not enough. How much compensation do we see? In the history, the compensations that they give people when they take their property is not even enough for them to settle in Lagos. People just go to Ogun State or, to go and settle, or they go back to their villages if they are not from Ogun State. So I think they should provide for them. So if you are building 2,000 units of housing, reserve 300 for the indigenous people to stay on their community because they are part of that place.
But also, don't forget that some of the indigenous peoples, because I know an uncle that used to own land in Makoko years ago, during, I think, Maruwa time, and when they started the first destruction, he said that government had compensated them. He had told his tenants that, look, government is coming to demolish. It may just take time. But guess what? Other people took ownership. So that's why I said most of them, they don't have papers because they are not the original owners of those properties. The real owners of the properties have been compensated and they've moved. During Fashola era, they wanted to do that. Although Fashola was very tough.
Madam.
The crying and the sentiments. Please hold on. We are very emotional in Nigeria. The crying and the sentiments. This is not being emotional.
There is a thing about indigenous people. And it is injustice to displace people that have been living in a certain place for 30, 40 years.
Whether
legally or legally.
Yes, what are you? No. So you should not let people settle in the first place. But once you let them settle and they live for 30, 40 years, they become an indigenous people to that place, whether you like it or not.
Please tell Trump that.
But don't you think that they, first of all, from the government side, they are saying they do not even have right to that place?
Yes.
But they've been, that is why I'm using the word indigenous people. You have to provide a place for them.
So at the end of the day, they are...
Let me tell you something.
Yes,
Let me tell you something. We can speak good English and quote Constitution. Yeah. When you throw out 10,000 people to the streets, that is security risk to me and you.
We are
because they have to survive somehow.
But don't forget, they are the security risk. They are the people coming to attack you on Third Mainland Bridge. They are the people that are digging holes on Third Mainland Bridge. They are the people that are taking out the sharp sand on Third Mainland Bridge to make sure that the bridge is not having issues.
They are saying the same thing, madam.
So what the government is saying is we need to relocate these people. And the truth is, they need to be relocated. Let's be honest. You can't have a mega city. Those people, they have done a run of... This is not the first administration that is talking with Makoko. This is not the second. This is not the third. It keeps reoccurring. No matter the money you pump into them. December alone, I know more than 15 agencies that had stuff there. Monies, schools, books, everything down to ground zero.
Or do they want to be relocated?
That's the problem. Do these people want to develop? No.
My question is, I like where you started from. Relocate them to a permanent site like an IDP camp.
Yes.
But I still stand on my point that whatever development is happening there, you need to reserve some units for the indigenous people. Okay, for example, they have a traditional ruler. Yes. So you want to build, you want to turn it to a co-Atlantic, and then the traditional ruler, where does he rule? So people, that is people's identity. That is their place. So you need to make a place for them because they are the indigenous people of that place. Whether you like it or not, a place that has a stool that is recognized by the Oba of Lagos.
Okay,
if you have a recognizable stool that is recognized, they have a ballet that is recognized by Oba of Lagos, and Oba of Lagos is recognized by the Constitution of Lagos.
Federal government of
so it's a legitimate community.
Yes.
They are an indigenous people. If they think they are occupying that place illegitimately, why did they have a ballet in the first place?
Are they paying ground rent for that particular place?
You are speaking English,
sir. Mukta.
See, sir, let me tell you something. The Constitution, the government is there to serve us in our numbers. And see, let me tell you something. Today is Makoko. Tomorrow it can be Yaba. Next tomorrow it can be Surulere. Because guess what? It's happening in Jakande. Those houses were built with blocks and bricks, and it's I know this Jakande estate is by Lekki Art Market.
There's also in Oshodi.
It has been marked for demolition, and they are going to give them compensation that is not current market reflecting. Excuse me. Yes. People have a flat, a 3-bedroom flat that, you know, since Jakonde's time, which is over 30 years ago.
Yes.
Do you understand? And then you are giving them money that cannot give them. And that place has become a prime location. When people were buying it in 1991, they were buying bush. Now, their investment has yield. We know what a plot of land goes for in Lekki now. We are talking 300, 400 million. So people have invested money since 1991. Now it becomes a prime real estate. And then you want to take it away from them. And then you want to, are they going to compensate them 300, 400 million? The answer is no. We know the answer. So this is injustice. No matter how we speak English, we paint it. They are indigenous people of Makoko. And we are not saying don't clean up that place. We are not saying don't build modern infrastructure. We are just saying if you are building 3,000 units, 2,000 units, I'm from Kwara State, I'm not even from Makoko, but this is injustice. Provide 500, 300 units for the indigenous people. It is simple.
So first, the Jakande estates, they were literally giving out. People paid little or nothing for it. It was free housing. That's the first thing we need to see. 90% of the owners of Jakande have long also left those properties and walked away. The people that are living there, yes, they are people that they don't have a lot. So they are saying, look, if you take them away, they are the poor in Lekki community. I had a friend who had rented that place, I think 2010.
The day he rented, he moved in his property, went to work and came back, everything had been robbed. And the people in the block of flats were laughing at, bro, nobody they bring anything come this place. That is how badly they live.
Okay,
please hold on, I'm coming. They are the people, even within themselves, they are the people who keep punishing themselves. Those people have been relocated by government, at least from the Jakonde story. I lived in Jakonde. I stayed in that area, stayed on Lokolo. I know the Jakonde story. They have been rehabilitated more than 5 times. From Fashola, for Tinubu time, it keeps reoccurring. But the sentiments they keep saying is, look, they are the workforce of Lekki. They are the poor people. Where are you chasing them away to? But that place is an eyesore. That's where the armed robbers, the beautiful sisters who work at night, everything bad is in that community. Those people that come and beg for money and break your windscreens when you don't give them, they run into that community for shelter. And that community has become a zone that you sell drugs, you do a lot. So trust me, it is a community that the government, I'm emotional, but it needs to be sorted.
Excuse me, ma, you see, like you said, housing is a fundamental human right.
Yes.
I don't know anybody in Lagos, no matter how high up that you are, that do not believe that there is housing problem
in Lagos.
Yes. Very well.
And for too long, we've settled for little or nothing from the government. On this table, I've said it several times. I'll say it again today. In America, Manhattan is one of the most expensive neighborhoods.
Yes.
There is a project building. Project building in America means a building that government built. And in Manhattan, a flat goes for average of about $8,000, $9,000 per month.
You don't even want to do the calculations.
Per month. And the project building in the same place, in the same place, goes for $300.
Same place.
Same place, same Manhattan. You can Google it. And we are talking more than 5,000 units. More than 5,000 units. You see them high-rise. Regular people don't want to live there. Like you say, that is where the gang boys, that's where they live. People that sell drugs, that's where they live. But diligent people start their life there. Build, and maybe when they want to start having children, they move out.
Yes.
And there are some projects where it's mostly good people. You can find those kind of projects too.
Yes.
So what am I driving at is that government, if we demand it, can provide affordable housing.
Yes.
I look at all the Lagos State developments from Lekki to Igondo.
Yes.
An average civil servant, an average person that earns even the average
300,000
cannot afford it.
Yes.
So we need to demand more. We need to demand better. I've been to the Jakonde site.
Yes.
It is big enough for government to erect a 10-story building that can have up to 500 units of housing that will not be sold, that will be directly under the Ministry of Housing. What is the commissioner doing if he cannot manage a 500-unit housing? To make sure that when there's plumbing problem, somebody is there. When there's electricity, what is the commissioner's job? So I want to see at least 5,000, 10,000 housing units owned and controlled by Lagos State through the Commissioner for Housing. That average Lagos workers, any 150,000, 200,000, can get a decent 2-bedroom for 200,000, 300,000 per month, regardless of the
per month, per year, if it's per month.
Per year. I mean,
per year. Yes.
That regardless of the location, because Lagos State has land in every place.
Yes.
So I want to see development in Ikoyi that is owned by Lagos State, that people that work in that Ikoyi that are serving the rich can live in.
Yes.
In Lekki, everywhere, all the way, we want to see that in all the local government. We want to see those kind of, because it's possible.
Yes.
And it can be done. They have the land.
Yes.
It's just for you to say, if your developers are coming, most of these developers, they don't even take money. They do joint venture.
Yes.
So government should not, when government is doing the joint venture for the state should be build our own 500 units for us that will rent. And the government should make their money bit by bit by these very cheap subsidized rent managed by the Commissioner of Housing. It is possible.
I agree with you.
All right, so we really have to go, but let's quickly take some social media comments on YouTube. This one is coming from John Oloruntobi. He says, SBL, good morning, looking forward to the Makoko development story, and there you have it. This one is coming from Austin. I am very much interested in the Makoko development story. We all are. This one is coming from Crypto. He says, the government must, as a duty, find a workable policy that can mop up cash, from the society. We cannot develop with over 93% of money outside the banking system. This one is coming from same Crypto. It says, state and local government need to invest in power generation and distribution. End of month FAC allocation has made these subnationals brain lazy. States can do a lot. We have this one coming in from Love Praise, but then transportation is taken up to that percentage and more. Mokhtar, this statement was referred to you. Now, this one is coming from Austin Gerald. He says, a lot is happening when it comes to electricity. And in all this, the poor are affected. The government should please do something. John Oloruntobi says, over the years, we have seen donations thrown into Makoko, yet it remains the way it is. There is need to redirect them to a new settlement or create better living conditions with that environment. He goes on to say developed nations will look at how they can generate revenue from that environment, from waste, manpower, and put into the fishing industry. We have this one coming from Praise. He says, Mokhtar said you are speaking English, Olumide. Well, yeah,
you are speaking English, Olumide.
English, yeah. Now, this one comes from Praise again. He says, it's the energy between Swift and Mokhtar for me. There you have it. This is where we will round off SOUQ Business Landscape. It's pretty sad that we don't have much time. We have exhausted our time. But, from boardrooms to marketplaces, policies to power lines, every decision that shapes the cost of living and the future of enterprise. We ask, can Nigeria stabilize prices, protect communities, and still grow innovation? The answers will define jobs, investment, and opportunities in 2026 and beyond. Thank you for watching SOUQ Business Landscape, where economics meet everyday life. I am Olumide Shokoya. Stay informed and keep doing business smarter. Swift.
All right. I hope you had a great time with us. Feel free to follow us on all our social media platforms and have a beautiful day. My name is Swift Aderiento. Bye.
Thank you for being part of SBL this morning. I do have a great day.
Take Nigeria because it's the mind that needs to first of all be rebranded.
Idris said he's going to be putting Nigerian labor, Nigeria content and materials first.
If you say Nigeria first and it is just us down here that, are pushing that agenda, it's going to be a big struggle.
Do you think Nigerian firms, Nigerian organizations should start looking at getting their staff involved in this market or buying to keep for their staff?
Within this side, let's also learn citizen diplomacy. See something. This is SOUQ Business Landscape.
At the Africa Development Studies Center, ADSC, we are committed to driving sustainable growth and development across Africa through innovative training and research. Our mission, empowering leaders, policymakers, and professionals with the tools they need to create lasting change. With customized training, dynamic research programs, and study exchanges on leadership, management, and other critical development topics, ADSC offers a platform for exchanging cutting-edge ideas and global best practices. We provide comprehensive services in research and consultancy, capacity building and training, education programs, publishing and knowledge sharing. Our esteemed faculty, composed of seasoned experts and researchers, ensures a learning experience that is insightful and practical. We specialize in policy development, implementation strategies, monitoring, and evaluation. At ADSC, learning is engaging and enjoyable. Our unique methodology includes talks, interactive exercises, games, video screenings, and lively seminar discussions, all in a comfortable and friendly environment. Ready to make an impact? For more information, email us at info@adstudycenter.com or call +234 912 439 2362. Visit us today at www.adstudycenter.com to explore our programs and upcoming events. Africa Development Studies Center, rethinking development for Africa.
Housing infrastructure as a driver of economic growth. In virtually every nation, the discourse on economic growth often revolves around output, foreign investment, technology, and human capital development. Yet, one element that remains underexplored but profoundly fundamental is housing infrastructure. Housing is more than shelter. It is an economic commodity, a social stabilizer, and a catalyst for development. From job creation to stimulating demand in allied industries, and from serving as collateral for wealth creation to enabling urban renewal, housing infrastructure stands at the heart of sustainable economic advancement. At the core of modern economies, housing represents both a consumption good and an investment asset. For households, it is often the most valuable property they own. For governments, housing development is a visible marker of social responsibility, while for economies, it serves as a growth engine with multiplier effects across sectors. According to Bayo Olaoye, veteran journalist with SOUQ News Television, well-planned housing infrastructure is not just about erecting buildings. When integrated with urban planning, it prevents slum expansion, enhances livability, and boosts productivity. World Bank estimates show that the real estate and construction sector contributes between 7% and 14% of global GDP, depending on the region. In advanced economies, such as United States, housing-related activities, construction, real estate, mortgage finance, home improvement, and property services are major drivers of employment and wealth creation. In emerging economies like Nigeria, housing contributes about 3.1% of GDP, though with vast untapped potential. Its influence cuts across financial markets, labor absorption, raw material demand, and energy consumption patterns. One of the clearest pathways through which housing drives growth is job creation. Development requires diverse skilled and unskilled labor, from architects and engineers to masons, electricians, and artisans. The construction phase alone is labor-intensive and generates immediate employment. Beyond that, housing stimulates growth in allied sectors such as cement, steel, timber, and glass. Industries producing furniture, interior decor, and home appliances thrive as household spending increases, while financial institutions expand their mortgage and insurance portfolios. The International Labour Organization, ILO, estimates that each housing unit constructed generates between 5 and 7 jobs, depending on project complexity. In countries grappling with high youth unemployment, this represents a powerful avenue for labor absorption and poverty reduction. Furthermore, housing facilitates wealth accumulation and capital formation. Unlike consumer goods that depreciate, housing retains or increases in value. For many households, home ownership is the foundation of financial security and upward mobility. Housing assets also serve as collateral for credit, driving entrepreneurship and industrial growth. However, in many developing nations, underdeveloped housing finance systems limit credit access, stifling broader economic potential. Expanding housing infrastructure can therefore deepen financial systems, democratize wealth, and strengthen the foundation for inclusive growth. As the United Nations projects that nearly 70% of the global population will live in urban areas by 2050, nations like Nigeria must treat housing as a strategic tool for urban renewal and sustainable development. Cities with adequate housing attract investment, foster innovation, and enhance livability, while poor housing conditions breed overcrowding, insecurity, and economic inefficiency. In essence, housing infrastructure is not merely about buildings, it's about building economies. I'm Moyosore Adibi, SOUQ News TV.
For more than a century, Zambia has stood as a prominent figure in the mining sector, particularly renowned for its copper production, which remains a cornerstone of the nation's economy. Accounting for 3/4 of the country's export earnings, mining plays a
My name is Shino Gbadegeshin. I'm the CEO of Gozi Micro Insurance. Continue to watch SOUQ News.
Adenike Adeyemi, Executive Director of Faith Foundation. Keep watching SOUQ News.
My name is Shepherd Michael Adewale Onofuye. I enjoy you all to always watch SOUQ News TV.
Hey everyone, Majuli Obaje here representing Gigi. Keep watching SOUQ News, okay? Stay updated with SOUQ News.
My name is Aton Kene. I am the head of MSME Banking. Please keep watching SOUQ News and stay glued to SOUQ News.
I recommend that more and more people should watch SOUQ News because they deal with business news.
Hi, my name is Amaka Wokolo. I am the director of the Faith Institute at Faith Foundation. Keep watching SOUQ News.
Well, I would say now he's gotten the job. If this question had come before now, I would be able to say that I do not think we need him. But he's there now, so all we need to do is see what best he can do or what best we can do to support him to succeed. Now, going by his previous records, going by all that he's achieved in sports, ordinarily one wouldn't have said he's the best for the Super Eagles at this time. But here we are. Decision makers have made their decisions. They've taken the decisions. We can only talk, but they already have their way. Well, I think his assessment will start when he starts playing games. He's not had any game with Nigeria, so we can't assess him. But going by his previous records, I don't think he would have been the best for Nigeria at this time. Not against other homegrown indigenous coaches who have had better records within and outside Nigeria. On a scale of 1 to 10, I don't think Shele will fit in at any point. But of course, having him been appointed, all we need to do is give support and see the best that we can get from him being Nigerians. And of course, at all times, irrespective of whatever decisions are taken, we want Nigeria to excel. Because in Nigeria's excellence, we are proud. In Nigeria's excellence, those of us that are in the media and sporting media, to be precise, we can do business. If Nigeria is not winning, the biggest brand for Nigeria is the Super Eagles, sports-wise. So if Nigeria is not winning, if Nigeria is not making waves, then we don't have business to do. So it's in our interest that he succeeds. So to that extent, I would say yes. But looking at his appointment, I think it's just a part of the over-politicization of the sporting industry, power show by the immediate past president of the Football Federation, Melvin Pinnick Amaju. Having failed in his 2 terms, continues to to traverse the terrain to show he still has power. And of course, he brought Shele. And of course, the SOUQ Gusau, the incumbent president of the Football Federation, has to listen to his master. So his master's voice, that's what we're experiencing. If they like, let them bring the Hirusadi. You see, there are things about Nigeria and Nigerian sports that should not surprise anybody. Politics are played everywhere, and balancing of acts are played everywhere. Federal character everywhere. And the federal character thing is just all very pretentious things they do. It's definitely not for the interest of Nigeria. Just to show that, okay, we've taken somebody from the south, or we've taken one from the west, or we are now taking from the north. Who will take in the north? Let's bring Ahmed Musa. He's calm. He'll be able to talk to the players. What is he going to say to the players? He's past his prime a long time ago. So it's all politics and not in the interest of the nation. I can tell you that. But for Chele going around Europe, yes, he has to. Because everywhere you go, to be the chief coach of the Nigerian national team, senior national team, can be a huge task. Because every day you have Nigerian boys showing up in big leagues, in small clubs, in championship clubs, even around the country. You find players everywhere. Nigeria, I think today, if we are not exporting oil, I think we are exporting footballers to everywhere, even those that are born abroad. I mean, you can imagine this young boy at Arsenal, 17, Ethnan Nwaneri, and there's Anokoli, there's Ndidi. You have both at Leicester City. So everywhere you go, you see Nigerian boys showing stuff. So to be the coach of a Nigerian team at the level of Super Eagles is a huge task. One would expect that we should have a scouting department. One would expect that we have a department that should take charge of team psychology. We expect that we have the technical department or the directorate for technical at the Football Federation to be well equipped with people that are sound in mind, sound technically, and have capacity to work and deliver. With all of that put together, then they should be able to advise and situate the coach at the point where he can deliver and work well. Well, you see, I said yes, because I've been one of those that have always been clamoring that there's need to have a National Sports Commission. Now, having a National Sports Commission that is populated or that is headed by politicians is neither here nor there. It may not take us anywhere. We need to separate our sport. Yes, sports, you cannot do away with politics at some level. But in terms of the administration, in terms of the management, in terms of the execution, there's need to be able to separate sports and politics. In the days where we held sway in sports, where the National Sports Commission functioned effectively, all of those that occupied the position as Director General, as directors in the then National Sports Commission, were professionals. If you recall from the days of Abraham Odia, Awotro Eleya, and of course Isaac Akioye, that laid the structure and foundation for a proper National Sports Commission just after the All-Africa Games, was a thoroughbred professional from the University of Ife. And there are other such professionals all around this country. And you need to ask, if we are not able to seek and give these people jobs and give them tasks to deliver, we always will go look for political loyalists to put in positions so that they answer to us. Politics is just, to me these days, it's more like a window for public relations for political parties and individuals that are into politics to express themselves, or maybe also at the same time also reward loyalists. That's what we find. So in terms of the technicalities on administration and management of sports, in its true sense, we're still very far from it. Plenty improvement, I would say. The current managers of the league are doing everything they can to ensure that our league gets back to a competitive level at the continent gets back to competitive level at the rate at which we, those of us local people like myself, can appreciate our football and our footballers once again. The question to ask is to say, are we doing enough? The answer will be no. Who are those not doing enough? The media, the sporting media in Nigeria is not doing well enough. Would I say sporting media? Yes. And also the bigger media is not doing well enough. And because we are not doing well enough, that's why our league is still where it is. We would have gone further than this. The other aspect of it is government. Government across the states. Football business is supposed to be good business. Football business is supposed to be run by private individuals and clubs. There's nothing wrong to say that the people of a particular state cannot run a football club in conjunction with other private individuals who will be stakeholders and are interested in the promotion of sport and football in the sense that we're talking about it now. But what we have is that we have state governments owning football teams, and those that are administering the football teams are SA this, SA that have been appointed as a reward, that have been appointed because they are loyal, that have been appointed because they can talk a little bit about foreign leagues. Somebody can talk about the league talk about the La Liga and the EPL, and that qualifies him to be SA in charge of sports in some states of the federation. And these are the bunch of persons or the group of persons who are running our football around the country. So who runs the clubs, the texture of the clubs, what names the clubs are bearing, what history behind the clubs, those are the things that tells you that the states are not doing enough, the Football Federation not doing enough, but I think largely the media, check out our sports programs. All you find are talking heads talking about who scored the best goal in the world, who scored the best goal in Europe, who scored the best goal in England and all that. That's what we find. You hardly will see shows, package shows about the best goals of the Nigerian league over the past weekend. The best goals, the best dribbles, how many passes, proper statistics, because the media is not doing enough. The sporting media, that is journalists that are practitioners, they are not doing enough because they are not tasking themselves. They just go on the internet, download one or two things, watch and everything. All you know is you take, as a content creator in sports, you need to just take a shot of the goal that the assist that Nwaneri gave, or Merino scored a goal for Arsenal, and you superimpose yourself and you talk over it. And that's content, and you post it, and there are likes and there are followers, and that's it, what we do. But you do not have individuals going to places to take content. All around Lagos, that's we look at as we are now, all around Nigeria, sports is going on every day. As a practitioner myself, in those days when I used to be the street reporter, we covered football from everywhere. From Abeson, from Bagada, from Volkswagen, down on Ojo, Abete, anywhere. All of those places, and boys are still playing football. You go to Evans Square, boys are still playing football. Go to Lafayette, they're still playing football. Go to Alakoro, you still see boxing. So all of these sports are still going on. But where are the journalists that will cover these events and bring them to the fore and package them? The journalists are not ready to do that job. Even those that are ready are not funded. Even those that work are not paid salaries. So everybody is just finding the easy way out, cutting corners and doing their best. Now for our league and our sports to grow, there has to be heavy investment in the media. Because everything you see about the EPL, the La Liga, you take the EPL and analyze it, you see a variety of shows all about the weekend games, the weekend wrap, the best goals, the best flops, the referee angle, even the advertising and marketing. Because when all of this are put in a fray, then people can relate to it. People can leverage on it. Brands can come and give sponsorship. But we are not able to attract sponsorship because there's nothing for the brands to take away. Because if you give brands value, they will attach to it. And it never used to be so. Before 2006, the La Liga was not popular. The EPL was not popular. The Champions League was not popular. what were Nigerians watching? Because the media itself sold out. By investing, Nigerian media organizations came together, put money together, and went to buy rights of the EPL and started broadcasting it on Nigerian television for the consumption of Nigerians, so they can make cheap money from telcos and from the brewing industry. They made more money for themselves. I mean, the media houses, rather than invest in the local league. Then they will tell them who will watch Nigerian league. I mean, those are the questions they asked at the time. Some of us that that were able to find courage, we found courage and we asked them, why would we be doing this? But of course, we were not many enough for our voices to be heard. And that's why we're here. We are where we are. So it's not far when we lost it. Can we redeem ourselves? Yes, we can, if we want to. But it will take a whole lot of courage. It will take a whole lot of work. It will take a whole lot of commitment. God help us.
The National Assembly, in collaboration with the African Development Studies Center, ADSC, held a 5-day national capacity building workshop on treaties, agreements, and protocols for federal MDAs, with the theme, Enhancing Institutional Capacity for Effective Treaty Negotiation, Implementation, and Oversight in Nigeria. Honorable Barrister Rabiu Yusuf, Chairman of the House Committee on Treaties, Protocols, and Agreements in the 10th Assembly, highlighted the importance of strengthening the skills of key government officials in treaty processes.
At this particular moment of our country, we need a situation whereby all the stakeholders involved in external engagement with other countries, particularly state and the federal governments, and mostly MDAs of the national level, to ensure that they are aware, they know what it takes, they know how it will be, and they know what it takes to ensure the institutionalized democracy and the legal approach as far as ratification, engagement, domestication of treaties. That is why the 10th National Assembly, under the able leadership of the Right Honorable Speaker Tajuddin Abbas, mandated our committee, pursuant to Section 12, Sub 2 of the Constitution, that we should reach out to all necessary stakeholders who are personally stakeholders on this engagement to ensure they know how it takes and they know how to execute it. Basically, that's the reason we are conducting this exercise.
Actually, I think there is no point for me to deliver my remark at this time, because I'm very much aware that my remarks have been delivered instead of distinction. So in either words, I will just say I really sincerely appreciate your presence in this program, and I believe it will go far in helping the system, stimulating the system, and work for the Nigerian progress. So I wish you a fruitful discussion and a successful outcome. Thank you very much.
The major challenge, everybody is going silo, in the sense that we are not trying to bring ourselves into the same table to ensure that before you find any entity, be it state, local governments, or federal entity, as far as engagement is concerned with other outside worlds, you need to know there are provisions of the Constitution which you need to comply. Failure to comply with that provision of the Constitution, whatever you do, it will go to a nullity, invalid, and is inconsistent with the provisions of the Constitution. And to the extent of that inconsistency, it is null and void, and of no effect whatsoever. So we're trying to avoid this scenario whereby at national level or at international fora, Nigeria will be embarrassed because the stakeholders, the principal actors, they didn't even know what they are doing. So that is why we decided at this particular moment it is ripe and necessary to ensure that we engage with unnecessary stakeholders. That is the basic reasons for engaging in these activities. Actually, I recommend their effort to any other entity, because if you can see, most of them, they are legal luminaries. They know their audience, they know what they are doing. So I really appreciate they did a very wonderful job. and I sincerely appreciate. That's the main reason that I say I need to be here in Lagos, at least to supervise the happening in Lagos, and I'm impressed. You know, engagement with outside world it is two ways. It is going to be either bilateral or multilateral. So with this kind of workshop or with this kind of discourse, we believe the principal actors will now know what it takes to enter a treaty. And if they comply with what they are taught in this session, if they advise their principal when they go back to their respective MDA on the right way to go, I believe most of the treaties will be legally binding in Nigeria, provided they follow the procedure laid down by the Constitution. The future is bright. And the future, we will ensure in the future that all the treaties, all the agreements, all the international protocols have been observed to the letter, have been protected and enforced as it is enshrined in the Constitution. And with this kind of workshop, we believe we will create a series of avenues whereby we will engage other parties, other necessary stakeholders. We just set the ball rolling, and we will be there, inshallah.
Also sharing insights on the workshop, the clerk of the House Committee on Treaties, Protocols and Agreements discussed the value of the training in improving the understanding and application of international agreements across MDAs. He noted that the engagement served as an eye-opener, equipping participants with tools for more effective negotiation and oversight.
I'm a Nigerian, I'm a citizen of Nigeria, and I want Nigeria to benefit from its interaction with the international community, and it starts from things like this. For us to be able to interact well, we need to know what it entails to engage in the international community. When we are talking about treaties, what does it entail to enter into treaties? How do we do that? How do we negotiate? How do we implement? How do we oversight as a parliament? So it is my duty as a clerk of the committee to advise the chairman and the committee members on how to go on all these